Clobberin time!
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
It's Clobberin time! Clobberonimo!
Truer words were never spoken. Clobber the Animos. Welcome and greetings, my dear friends. Excuse me. Welcome to Clobberin Times. Clobberers, Clobberonimos, Clobberoids, Clobberuskis, Clobberettes, Clobberonicals, and Clobberologists, and to everyone else. The secret is to basically, as the great Gwagnar would have us know, bang the rocks together, guys. And good to see you all, my dear friends, for a wild card Wednesday night, which is just me being the wild card tonight, hanging out with you, and that's about it. No topic. We did a topic last week, but sometimes we'll slip a topic in there. That's why it's the wild card. Usually it's going to be open geekness, but you never know. Sometimes just be hanging out with you. So why don't I just get started? Just get started with the show notes and the shout outs, because I'm happy to see you all here with me tonight. It's always a pleasure to have my dear friends here. And let's start out with shouting out. Well, show notes, of course. Let's see here. Tomorrow night, the clubhouse is in session with, of course, my first officer, my chief engineer. We will be reviewing, as we often want to do, Blake 7, episode 2, amongst other things, on the clubhouse. At Clubby's Clubhouse. Sorry, what the hell did I eat? Man. Breathe. Sorry. All right. So anyway, Clubby's Clubhouse tomorrow night. Same Clubby time, same Clubby channel. And then, of course, well, before that, I'll be hopefully on with Tom and the gang, Midnight Judge After Dark. And then Friday night, of course, with my great buddy J-Man and the great Sean, Decepticon. I got to calm down. With those great gentlemen, continuing our ongoing series of reviewing all of Jack Kirby's The Fourth World Saga for his DC Comics in chronological order. And then, of course, not too long after that, on Friday Night Comic Shop, with my buddy Nick in the gang, 32 Flavors, with that fun group there. And then, of course, Saturday Night Star Trek, beginning season 3, even though it says season 2 on there. We've got to change that. Oopsies, because it's season 2. Anyway, I screwed. I knew I missed something. Don't I always? Anyway. So it's beginning season 3 of Star Trek Voyager season reviews, 9 p.m. Eastern. Same Trek time, same Clobby channel. I'm just on a shaky start. And then, of course, Sunday night, the great Mark D with the C will return. And let me tell you something, 10 p.m. Eastern, he will have a big show for us because he attended the New York City Comic-Con last weekend, and he was intended to show a lot of the footage last week. Things happened, and he was not able to do so, but he will have them, and it'll be a great show taking us all around the con for the sights and sounds of New York City Comic-Con 2023. So that'll be a lot of fun. And then, of course, back Monday night with more Legion reviews on J-Man's channel. And then after that, of course, and then more Monday night Mark's Comic Talk after that. So, but tonight it's the wild card. It's the wild card Wednesday night. Let's start doing some shout outs. Eric K, the Bronze Wrencher, whether they're here or not, to get the shouts out. Eric K, Bronze Wrencher, Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrench of the Great White North, D. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron, Lord Thoth, and shout out to Lady Thoth, of course, as well. Avon lives long, live the Legion. J-Man, my partner in crime on Earth B, and fellow Legionnaire and Fourth World Reviewer Extraordinaire. Stephen Callell, Super Wrench. Maddie's Daddy, we did have reached beyond ya. The Rascally Wrench himself, Fanty Outsider, and of course, Clobberin Time's own Music Meister, Max Redstone. Now let's see who's with us in the chat. Where are we? I have to drag the chat back here, folks. Sorry. All right. FKH2C2005. Hello there, buddy. If you're out there watching, you said you might be watching. If you're not too tired, if you are, I understand, of course. If you're still up, and I hope you're doing well, buddy. Now, I will talk about that story. I don't really get a chance. I've been out so much, I didn't get a chance to look at that story much, but we might look at it later. It is open. It is open stuff after all. Empress NM says 13 days to Halloween. Oh boy. I know a lot of you are really looking forward to that. I hear you. Let's see. Guagnar, what's up, partner? Good to see you, buddy. Penny. Hey, Penny. Oh, it's good to see Penny here. I hope you're doing well, my dear. Brogu, hello there. Adrian James. Hey there. What's up, Adrian? Let's see. Dadman and the Dadman clan. Keely Chow, Roll Tide, and your Cowboys, whether I like it or not, rolled. They rolled. They rolled, so I didn't have to. Captain Infinity and beyond. Grim, what's up, Grim? Hey, man. Claude Salling, what's up, my friend? Good to see you. Doc Fortune, good to see you. Let's see here. Ravenscroft, hello there. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So got everybody. Dave G Sound. All righty. Looks like I got everybody, and people will, of course, be Julie shouted out, and let's see, Ravenscroft. I'm glad you mentioned that because I know with my dumb memory I would have forgotten. I touched on it the other day. Yeah, man. A lot of passings, big time celebrity passings. Mark Goddard. That's a bit of my childhood right there. I used to love Lost in Space. Back before I'd ever really been able to watch Star Trek as a kid. I didn't get to watch it much, but I got to watch Lost in Space all the time. And my two favorite things on the planet were Lost in Space and Space in the Batman TV show, amongst other things, of course. But I got to. He's a nice man. I met Mark Goddard a couple of times at some cons, and he was a cool dude. And of course, he was Major Don West. I was jealous of his ass because, man, he had Judy Robinson for a girlfriend. Hubba. She was Judy Robinson along with Yvonne Craig's Batgirl. Marta Kristen's Judy Robinson, Yvonne Craig's Batgirl were my first loves of my life. Yes, I was barely 2 years old, but I loved them. Always have. Judy and Batgirl and Judy. And damn it, Don West. had my girl at bunghole. But he was a nice man, and the only Don West. And Lost in Space still has a few people left. I think June Lockhart is still with us. I believe so. And of course, Marta Kristen and Angela Cartwright. And Bill Mumy, obviously. So of all those older shows, Lost in Space, I mean, obviously, we don't have let's see, we lost Jonathan Harris and Guy Williams. Now Mark Goddard. That cast was pretty close to intact until well, there were two gone, but now there's a third in the cast, and of course Vic Tufeld and Bob May, of course, the robot guy inside the robot, the guy who did the voice of the robot, have been gone for a while. Yeah, so that's a shame, but I loved Lost in Space. Man, I just adored it. I saw you. Yeah, Dark Shadows. Yes, Raymond Crawford. I know my buddy Steve, Maddie's daddy. He's a big Dark Shadows fan. The lady from that past as well that you put the name up there. Yeah. There were a lot of passings last week. Suzanne Summers. That was kind of a shock. I mean, she was 77, but I mean, I don't know. Dick Butkus last week. Suzanne Summers. There was Piper Laurie. There's my boy Mark Goddard, though. I can't let him go without any kind of Clobberin Times tribute at all. He's showing something of him because, man, look at that gentleman right there. That was a classic 60s, Swave and DeBoner, young hero type. He was cool on that show, too. He was really cool, man. I love Don. I mean, I was a big fan of Don. My favorite character was, of course, John Robinson, played by Guy Williams. And I loved Will. I mean, who didn't love Will? Let's see. Speech that Barnabas Collins gives about remembering how things were before he went to sleep. It's pretty great television. But there are a lot of shows, a lot of great shows that we loved, where most, if not all of the cast, in some cases, all of the cast is gone. But now with Mark gone, that's another one in Lost in Space, but they still have, it's strange, the majority of the cast. Guy Williams, yes, he was Zorro. I love Guy Williams. What a great actor. As a kid, maybe I quote unquote identified with Will Robinson, but I looked up to John Robinson. And when you're watching that show as a young child, they feel like your family. In a sense. If you grew up loving Lost in Space as much as I did, like I said, say what you want about how goofy it was or whatever. When you grew up loving the show as much as I did, and it was just my thing, man. It was like I said, there was a while there that was the gospel. I mean, I loved the Batman TV show as much, and I loved some comics and some cartoons and some things, but Lost in Space for a while there, man. Oh my. Well, Doc Fortune, I really hated that Netflix. Personally, that Netflix Lost in Space, but that's cool. It's cool that you enjoyed it. I thought it was horrifically bad. And I didn't watch the first season. I didn't watch the second. But hey, that's okay. You're not the only one that likes it. And I hated the stupid movie. And there was one pilot that didn't make it. Towboy the Robot. I knew you would say that. Towboy, identified with the robot. Well, of course, danger, Will Robinson. Yeah. Warning, danger, Will Robinson. But yes, I didn't like the movie, but I hate it. I mean, I like it way better than that TV show. But that first season, that TV show was all I saw. Don was horrible on the show. Everybody was horrible on the show. I mean, there was an absolute. I mean, I guess I'm not knocking you for liking it. It's just a different opinion. But man, I'm not just disliked it. I was mad at myself for forcing myself to watch the whole season, and I was like putrid. I mean, every second I was miserable. I said, "Why are you doing this?" But I wanted to keep an episode. I would keep going. Hey, Comic Relief Crusader, what's up, buddy? I would go, let me watch more. But I kept saying, oh, the pain, you bubble-headed booby. So it's just me. We're different on that one. The movie I didn't like, but it didn't really, it was sort of, dull mostly. It was kind of, I mean, I don't know. But hey, this way it goes. So, Don West, the only Don West, sir. What did I hate about it? Oh, man, how do I count the ways? The fact that John Robinson was a deadbeat idiot, jackass punk who got pissed around by his moronic, his pushy wife who was an itch-bay, that the woman that was, I know she wasn't really Dr. Smith. They had Billy Mummy in the scene, but the woman they had pretending to be, even though she was pretending to be Dr. Smith, what was her, Parker, whatever. I just hate it. Was just call it. If they made, I wouldn't have liked the show anyway, but just call it something else. It's really very little to do Lost in Space, and they had a bunch of other ships on that planet. They weren't lost from anything half the time. And I hate everything about it, man. I mean, every bit of it. I'm going, why? I'm just going, if you called this something else, it wouldn't aggravate me as much, except it's very modern day. Women are all the best. They're all the greatest. And all the guys, all the men are idiots. Even Will Robinson was a little idiot that caused trouble. None of them solved anything. It was the women that could do everything. It was a bunch of BS. Yeah, Parker Posey, that was her. It's just all the guys were idiots and stupid. Good actors, but I never blame the actors. They were all oh man. Oh my God. I hate it. God, it makes me have to think about it. Well, I didn't feel earned to me. I think that they, but I hear you. I mean, look, that's cool. It's one of those things. I never tell, put it this way. I never tell anybody. I only give my own opinion. I never tell anybody their. Because you could tell somebody they're wrong. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is say, well, bite me if someone tells you am I wrong. And I'm certainly not going to break into anyone's house and tell them that steal their DVDs and tell them they can't like something. But just me again. And there's another thing. Boy, did I hate the robot. Oh God, it was an alien thingy or something. I don't know. But believe me, I'm mad at myself for sticking through it. I should have stopped on a couple episodes. But and then you get, well, you didn't watch it all the way through. So, you can't win there. The big shiny metal guy, the not entirely convinced he's human. Call it the old Blade Runner magic. Infinity. But it's no big deal. I'm sure there are a lot of things we do agree on, Doc. It's cool. So anyway, rest in peace, Mark Goddard. Thank you so much for being a big part of my childhood. I hear you, Dave. Mark Goddard, you were hey, Brian Hepburn. What's up, dude? I'll take your word for that, Brian. After my hate for that first season so much, I'm never going back. So if anybody who got in this day and age, as bad as entertainment is, at least in my opinion, if you got something you like and you enjoyed something, even if I didn't like it, but you got it, I'm happy for you because there's not much out there. I rarely get anything I enjoy anymore. Now, that's my fault. I don't like modern aesthetic very much. There are a lot of modern things that are really tough for me to enjoy. Picasso. Because of modern aesthetic and because of the type of, the so-called writers that we have these days that aren't really writers at all. And it's just me. But So, but if you get anybody who gets something they enjoy, hey, look, I'm happy for you. So I so rarely do get something that's new anyway, that's made that I can enjoy. But it happens once in a while. And it's the weird thing, I can't think of anything coming out that I'm even looking forward to. But I'll say my last things about Mark Goddard. You were a nice man. You were cool to me when I met you, and you were the only Don West, sir. And he was good to his fans, and he was really outgoing at cons and stuff. So nice fella. Rest in peace, sir. And again, thank you for all the childhood memories. Even though you stole my girl, Judy Robinson. She's mine, damn it. I'll fight all you for her. Ironhide 84, what's up, buddy? Larry, what's up, bro? Good to see you. But even though he stole my girl, Judy Robinson, I'll cut him some slack. I was a little young for her at that point. There you go. Even you, Gwag. Wow. See, Doc, everybody likes it but me, so you're fine. Everybody agrees with you, not me on that. But I only saw the first Bag of Filth episode season, so let's see. Just curious why you hated it. It was not as attached to the old one, and I think is why we felt differently. But it could be. Look, like I said, it's been when that first season come out. Now a few years. So I would have to actually sit there and give it some serious thought to remember all the reasons I hated. I just laid out a few basic ones for you. But that's that. I mean, like I say, my opinion should never affect anybody, except Mark D. But don't, because he needs to like only what I tell him to like. But don't tell him that, just in case he's out there. Oh crap! Could not be raising further comment. Hey there. Oh, good to see you there. Thank you. Could not. But yeah, some things, I don't know, don't need to be remade. Obviously, to me, most things don't need to be remade. I didn't even know they made a third season of that thing. Oh, well. But I do know this. There's still some of the cast left, so God bless them. Doc Fortune, that's a fun question. Yeah. Would you use the Star Trek transporter? I am with Dr. McCoy. I would never use it. I think I would actually. I'll tell you why I would. Now, I love that question. See, it's interesting. In the very first Star Trek novel that was not based on the TV show, in other words, James Blish did the adaptations of all the original Star Trek episodes in 1969 or something like whatever it was, 76. And then he wrote a book, the very first, if you don't count like a storybook that was written for all ages, the very first pocket books novel or whichever was producing that was called Spock Must Die. And it was not an adaptation of an episode. And there's an argument that goes on in the very beginning about McCoy and Scotty are arguing that very thing that you bring up, how Dr. McCoy, asking the question is, once you've used the transporter, once you're reassembled, aren't you dead? No. In my opinion, no. I mean, that was a question like, but you're not the same person. Well, I'm sorry, but if you're standing in one place and then the beam takes you, I don't care what the beam takes you and sends you somewhere, thousands of miles away, millions of miles, whatever. And you when you rematerialize, if you're having all the same memories, all the same thoughts, all the same, you've been reassembled and put back together. Now, forget the fact that that's a fantasy thing, so it may or may not be ever possible. It kills you and builds a perfect copy on the other side, you say. But if all of your memories and your heart and soul and dreams, everything is there, if your mind is there, then you're still there. The body may be, be changed, but your mind is there. If your mind and your heart and soul all the same, none of that leaves you, then you're alive and you're fine. So, like, how many times have they been in a hurry to go somewhere and they beam up real quick and then boom, run to the bridge or run to this? I mean, if they were truly nothing inside, they would just fall down. So, if your memories and your mind, all that stuff's in there, then you're you. If it all that stayed intact, yeah. So I agree with Roger Corby. No, I don't agree with Roger Corby. He put his mind into a robot body. I'm saying it may have put your, like someone said, it put a copy of your body. Well, you're technically claiming it's a copy. I'm not saying it. It's your molecules that it transmitted across space, and then it reassembled your molecules that are yours. It can clone. I don't know. Transporter's not supposed to be able to clone people. I don't know who. It doesn't clone people. It makes mistakes. Some transporter accidents did make mistakes, like an Enemy Within and some flukes. By the way, Enemy Within's a crazy concept that really doesn't fit science fiction as much, but it's a brilliant episode, so we just go with it. But the point is, it's taking your molecules apart and it's reassembling them in another. After it transmits them somewhere else, those are your molecules. And your mind and body are still intact there. You're not like Roger Corby. You're not a robot. And you're not another person, or you're not a clone. It's you. It's a fun argument to have, since we'll probably never have transporters. Well, we'll never have transporters. But it is fun. At least that's the way I look at it. By the way, Doc, I love the argument because, like I said, it was in that Trek novel. Did anyone ever read Spock Must Die, by the way? James Bliss was really good at adapting the episodes. That book was pretty good, but had a really weird ending, which I won't spoiler for you. But that was back, man, when you got a Star Trek novel. Whoa. That was big stuff, man. When you get a new Star Trek story to read. Yeah. Come on, no one here's read Spock Must Die? Come on. Then they did one called Spock Messiah. Did one called Spock World or something like that. I think Spock World. I don't know, Spock and Price of the Phoenix, Fate of the Phoenix, Perry's Planet, Entropy Effect. Star Trek novels. Why am I talking about Star Trek now? I don't know, but they were fun back then. They were cool to have. Best of Trek. Remember for 21 years, Star Trek had one iteration. God, I kind of miss those times. That'll make an old fogey out of you. I hear you, Doc. Now that will make you old, make you sound really old when you say, remember when Star Trek only had one show? Remember that. Look at all these Star Trek novels, man. Oh, man. Yep, those old pocketbooks. I remember back then we were getting. You are old, D-Bud, but that's okay. Look at these Trek novels, man. You want to see the first Trek novel ever, though? Was this one. Mission to Horatius. This was the first Star Trek novel book. Even before Spock Must Die, it was a different format. So it's like a a young reader's book, that whatever. But I have a redo of this. I don't have the original because it's probably worth big money. Photo novels of episodes. I had the photo novels. I had those photo novels. Oh my. Yeah. Let's see. Oh my God, they're doing Strangled Dude Worms books. Pucola. We don't want to look at that trash. But they had some nice covers, though. By Boris. Yeah, Dim's word to days, buddies. So we have an article for switching to where we at? Oh yeah, there we go. Some more. What did I do? What did I do? Dreadnought. Yep. When you had to read to get your Star Trek. We like it that way. Yeah. Well, so let's see here. Got one of our buddies, FKH, was interested in. There's an article here, a Doctor Who article. I'm just go ahead and read it about something going on with Doctor Who right now. Yeah. Arg. Invite. Stop it. I keep hitting the wrong button. So I don't know what the hell's wrong with me tonight. I'm just wobbly, woozy. Okay. That's wrong. Look, hey, it's me. All right. Where are you? Oh, there you go. I got you. All right. So, here we are. See what's going on in Doctor Who news since it's coming close to the anniversary. I'm going to try to make as much of November I can Doctor Who month. At least on every Wednesday of the month, instead of doing Wildcard Wednesday, it's going to be a Doctor Who topic, including picking some favorite episodes and stuff. But let's see here. Doctor Who's very first story won't be part of the BBC streaming archive. An Unearthly Child will not be part of the BBC's streaming collection of 800 episodes due to the dispute with the son of its writer. Nearly 60 years to the day that Doctor Who began airing next month, the BBC will launch an unprecedented collection of over 800 episodes from the show's distant to not so distant past on its streaming platform iPlayer, the first of its kind from the corporation. But it turns out that the very first story that kicked all those adventures off in the first place won't be a part of it. Known by the title, the first episode, Unearthly Child, the 4-part serial was written by Anthony Clobberin, at the time a staff writer for the BBC, who would go on to write 3 more stories for Doctor Who that never made it to air. Those included 2 unnamed serials that were never brought forward, as well as The Robots, which was intended to be the second serial broadcast for the series, but was ultimately replaced with Terry Nation's The Daleks, which catapulted Doctor Who on a very different trajectory. Coburn went on to rework The Robots into a new story titled The Masters of Luxor, but after it was repeatedly delayed in filming due to scheduling issues and eventually rejected, Coburn severed all his ties with the series. Decades later, Coburn's son, Steph Coburn, has repeatedly pushed back against the BBC over what he perceives as a mistreatment of his father, especially over the conceptual ideas behind and eventual name of the Doctor's time travel machine, the TARDIS, time and relative dimensions and space. Coburn first attempted to legally change the BBC's ownership of the TARDIS in 2013. 2013, I should say, like they would say, timed to the 50th anniversary of Doctor Who, alleging that the corporation lost the rights to use ideas leveraged in Coburn's script for Unearthly Child. When he died in 1977, despite the corporation having held various copyrights and trademarks on the ship and its police box design for decades prior. Now, a decade later, Coburn has taken to social media to confirm that he has rejected attempts by the BBC to license An Unearthly Child for streaming on its platforms, claiming that the corporation refused a proposed deal to license the story. The deal I offered, the BBC, which my solicitor, an IP lawyer at international repute, described as a solid and not off-the-scale counter-proposal, was presented ostensibly as a starting point for negotiations, believing they would not even bother trying. I was not disappointed. So, as to why the BBC does not own the streaming rights to the first story of one of its biggest original series, it is kind of weird, isn't it? The answer is complicated. That's great. Much for the same reason that hundreds of episodes of Doctor Who's earliest history were lost in the process of archival junking. The television in the 1960s was not made with the forward thinking in mind that repeat broadcasts and, of course, evolution in the form like the home media the form like home media releases of streaming in the decades since would become such a prevalent part of the media landscape. That's something especially important now, as modern Hollywood reckons with years of denying the creatives behind its content adequate residual compensation, an issue at the heart of this year's dual WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Even in situations like Coburn being assigned to Doctor Who in the 60s, as a staff writer, would see the rights to individual scripts remain with their writers, with basically doesn't have a chance. I don't know how they're holding that one off. I don't see how. The way they suck up all this other stuff. Every other writer of every other episode that has relatives are going to come forward now. An Unearthly Child has been available in various formats in the years since its broadcast. It's currently available for streaming on BritBox, for example, and has been commercially released on various home media formats, including, most recently, as part of home releases of the 50th anniversary docudrama and Adventures in Space and Time. But Coburn has now alleged that he intends to let any such licensing deals deprecate once they expire. Another thread on the threads of the X platform, formerly known as Twitter, Coburn further stated that as a part of his continued claim against the BBC, he plans to sell his father's rights relating to an Unearthly Child to an enemy of the BBC, possessing all the. Now, how can he do that? All right, they're not. I don't understand why they even bother to take it off the form. Not that I'm against the guy. Not that I'm against him or anything. But if he can just take that one off, what about all the other writers who wrote other episodes? Like family members are going to start picking at episodes that they had a BBC staff writer that was a relative of theirs way back in the 60s and 70s and 80s even. And they're going to go after it. I mean, look, I'm all for it if they can get some recompense. I mean, that's cool. So I'm not like I'm against him. I'm all for him. Screw the BBC is garbage. I'm just don't. It's interesting because I don't know how they are. Well, look, they clearly are pulling it, or they're not going to have it. So that's going to affect all the episodes, I guess. So good for him. I mean, I'm wondering what that's going to lead to, though. Fascinating. Other than that, I don't have a real opinion on it because it's unprecedented. I've never heard of this with Doctor Who. No one's ever made any creative claims of Doctor Who other than Terry Nation. He owns, quote unquote, the Daleks. Sidney Newman and some designer at the BBC and Terry Nation, all co-created the Daleks. Sidney Newman created the show. You never heard any of him ever make claims to. I guess he thought he couldn't. I don't know. As far as ownership is concerned. Doc Fortune says, in a nutshell, why do fans hate The Timeless Children as much as Star Wars fans hate the Disney sequels? It commits so much fatal sin, but the plot synopsis doesn't explain. I hate it with a passion. I mean, you know how I was talking about hating that first season of that New Lost in Space? I would watch it 1,000 times more than I would even puke in the general direction of The Timeless Children. Why do fans hate The Timeless Children as much as Star Wars fans hate the Disney prequels? I hate the Disney sequels as well, so I hate them as I think I lean as a bit more of a Doctor Who fan than a Star Wars fan, although I do love the original Star Wars movies. So I probably hate The Timeless Children just a wee bit more, but I do hate I have plenty of hate in my heart for anything that destroys characters that I love. Plenty of hate in my heart for, you can say it's mean to be hateful. Well, too bad. They brought the hate on themselves. For people who do destroy something, The Timeless Children is probably one of the worst annihilations of a lore of all the ones I've ever seen. It might be the most disgusting. It might be the one, and that's running a close race against. Okay, no, I understand, Doc. If you're asking an honest question, I got you. Said an outsider and I have no context. Okay, good. What is that that makes it the fans so upset? Well, Timeless Children basically came along, as we all know, as Doctor Who knows fans. Doctor Who fans know there are the doctors. The first Doctor is William Hartnell. He stole the TARDIS from Gallifrey with his granddaughter and went on the run from the Time Lords and had subsequent adventures and regenerated every now and then until eventually he became, in my opinion, the last regeneration is after Matt Smith leaves. But eventually he became the Peter Capaldi Doctor. And after that, they came around, and I hate the Jodie Whittaker stuff. But yes, it retcons the original to the point. Now they're saying they totally retconned or filled in. They were acting like they were filling in blanks. Good night, Penny. Have a good night, my dear. Thank you for being here. They acted like they were filling in blanks to Gallifrey's origin, which is they added stuff, but basically now they're acting like there were hundreds of doctors. And that the ones we've seen on the show are nothing. There are tons and tons more, even before the doctors before William Hartnell. So yes, to answer your question, it's for those who don't, because, and I appreciate that you said you're genuinely asking, so you know, it retcons everything into the garbage. Jody's name is now pronounced codfish. It says, "Hey, Chris Persia, what's up, buddy?" So, Doc, I'll tell you, I hate it because it comes along and tells me that all the doctors you've seen aren't the only doctors, and they totally gave the Time Lords a backstory that makes them a bunch of evil. I mean, started with a very evil person by an evil person, and just the whole thing is atrocious. So for a Doctor Who fan, and it's just like Star Wars fans. I think Star Wars fans is a little bit of a different reason for the hatred. But the results are the same. Like, just for me, I hate what's been done to Star Wars, Star Trek, and Doctor Who. And they made the Time Lords pretty horrible. I mean, at their beginnings anyway. But they've done that before, but not quite that bad. This is The Timeless Children. I can tell you that I know some folks who were so hardcore with Doctor Who that they were even watching the Jodie crap. And I got to admit, I sat there and watched it like an imbecile. It was like a train wreck. I watched it and hated it. And it's not Doctor Who to me, but they were still sticking on. They were hoping that things would change. That they didn't like the Jodie stuff, but when they saw this episode, The Timeless Children, I mean, there were tears of, not of joy, of anger and disgust to have something. I've been a Doctor Who fan for about 42 years now. I love it. Star Trek is my baby. The Prisoner, Blake 7, Doctor Who are all like right up there for the things I love the most in terms of TV shows. And so I love it so much that when I saw that episode, it didn't just make me go, because usually, like, I'll joke around and say, oh man, even though I'm serious, I'll go, what a piece of crap. Like I'll talk about that Lost in Space. That Lost in Space remake TV show, even though I don't like it, it doesn't affect the original series whatsoever. But this is still connected. Doctor Who's connected, as I'm sure you know. Just like Star Wars, is connected, and Star Trek's connected. They try to connect them. So it was just different, and yeah, it's horrible. That's of all the horrible assaults on beloved IPs. To me, that's the worst one, The Timeless Children. But again, I would say that since I'm a fan of that IP. It's happened to other IPs that I'm not necessarily a big fan of, and I can empathize with those fans. I stopped watching Doctor Who when Capaldi started because I hated the scripts, not Capaldi, so I never had to suffer through Jodie. D-Bud, I watched the Capaldi era, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. I love the actor, but I hated his scripts. I hated the way he was written. I can't name you one Capaldi story that I like. Not one. Yes, The Prisoner is, it's Star Trek's my sentimental all-time favorite series, the original series, but I think The Prisoner is the greatest show ever made. Contradiction, you might say? Yeah. D-Bud's been a fan for 47 years. Only watch the old stuff now, yeah. I think it ended with Matt Smith, the 50th anniversary, and that unfortunate Time with the Doctor special, or the end of Doctor Who for me. 50 years was it. Like I said, I kept watching it like an imbecile, but it ends there. I watched all the good and bad of Doctor Who, but I almost junked my DVD collection after seeing the Timeless Children crap, said Gwagnar. Agreed. It is just as disgusting a thing that I've ever seen done to fans. And there's some disgusting things that's been done to fans. Did the Great Vegetable War respect the original show? Lol, but yeah, new Lost in Space, not my robot. Hey, the Great Vegetable Rebellion was stupid, but it was still a kid's show, man. Yeah, it was dumb. Whereas Spock's brain was stupid because Star Trek wasn't supposed to be a kid's show. I understand now it's part of that all men bad, but it's fixed now that a woman is in charge mentality. Doc, you said it. That was part of it for sure. Yeah, Gwagnar, that we don't talk of the stupid Prisoner remake. That was a piece of crap. Matt Smith was the end of Who, and he wasn't even the 11th Doctor. In a sense, he was still the 12th and then the 13th. So, but that said, it's a shame because Capaldi was a really. I still accept Capaldi as a Doc, even though for me the cutoff's that Time with the Doctor because he's so good. I watched it all. He's brilliant, and the scripts are just so bad. It was embarrassing, and I was sad for him because I can't name an episode I care about. I am not a number. I'm a free man. Because you see, in the Capaldi era, like I said, I never went. All the other eras, even inferior episodes, even Matt Smith's lesser episodes, when they would come on with the new one, I would watch it once, and even if I didn't like it that much, I'd probably watch it again. When I was really liking the show, I would watch it, a couple times, and this is, and I'm truly old school Doctor is my favorite, but I did like, what Russell T Davies had done with it for the most part. I have a lot of problems with what he did too. Incidentally, I'm very critical of a lot of what Russell T Davies did, but I like it, if that makes any sense. But Capaldi, I watched one episode like out of a like a responsibility, or I don't know, like a habit, or like I felt like I needed to see it, and that I can't think of any time I ever went back and watched one again, except maybe Deep Breath a couple of times because it was the first Doctor, it was the first time with him in it, and I couldn't believe how bad it was. I hated it, but I kept watching it thinking it would get better. And after that, it got to a point where I was one and done out the door, except for that the Wedding of Rivers song. I did watch that a few times. I thought that was kind of a cute one that felt more like older Doctor Who. Because he's true again. Capaldi's great, and it's not his fault. And it's just, it's not only that's a shame that Russell, in this case, Stephen Moffat just sucks so bad on there. But hey, way things go, I guess. It's sad, but I was, I don't know. In November, I'm gonna try to do 4 shows on each Wednesday, celebrating the Doctor Who. And it will be nothing to do with anything that was made in the past 10 years, I can assure you. Can anyone think of a TV remake that worked? Says Ravenscroft. I got one, because you know what? I'm the one that beats up on remakes and reboots so much, but I have a certain fairness in me that if I watch something that is a remake, and I almost never like them, or movies either, really, even if I have to admit it, and it hurts to admit it, I'll do it. And I've got one, but it was a transition from TV to movie. And it's a small thing, but I actually liked Harrison Ford's Fugitive movie. It was a good TV show, the old show with David Jansen. But I don't think, that's something that's not like this big involved IP that's gigantic, that has a big fan base, all that other kind of stuff. It's an idea you can remake it and get away with it. You got Harrison Ford. You've got another take on the story. That's something I don't think it hurts to modernize that story. Once in a while, a remake, but you got to put up or shut up. You got to, if you oh, I hear you, Raven. I hear you, Maddies. If you can make it good, like if you do a remake and I go, but if I watch it and you do it well, then I'm going to admit it. Just like John Carpenter's The Thing isn't exactly a remake of The Thing from Another World by Howard Hawks. It's more close to the short story by Joseph. Was it John Campbell or whatever? Whoever, And I love John Carpenter's The Thing, but you hate remakes. Why do you love that? It's not technically a remake, but if you want to go ahead and say, all right, like Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978 is a pretty good movie. It's a remake of a really good movie, but it is pretty good. But 90 some odd percent of the time, 95% of the time, remakes are useless and worthless to me. And there you go. I haven't seen that one. I'm a big fan of the Wanted Dead or Alive TV show, Ironhide. And he says, unpopular opinion, I like the Wanted Dead or Alive movie. Now, I like Rutger Hauer. I don't think I've seen that. But I'd watch that. See, that's something, again, it's set in a different time. It's not like just, you're not trying to be Steve McQueen, which no one can. Who goes there? Yes, Doc Fortune, thank you. Ravenscroft says, I wanted so badly to have Sequest be another Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, but I never got to. Yeah, I have some friends who are fans of Sequest, but they like Voyage better. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea is a better show. Now, Empress and M, here's just like Ironheart said, he had an unpopular opinion. I'm going to give you an unpopular opinion right here. I personally don't. I love the original Battlestar Galactica for 1978, and it's been much talked about around here. I've never watched the that remake, but the Ron Moore one. I respect many fine people in the world who love it. I don't doubt that people like it, and I respect if you say it's good. I just have no desire to watch it for a host of reasons. I don't want to, and I won't. But I don't begrudge anyone else. I get it. I understand that because a lot of people really think highly of it. That's cool. Ravenscroft, I'm the same way. I've been rewatching them again for the zillionth time. I love the old show, and we were, Richard Hatch was out there busting his ass to try to bring the old show back, like a revival, not a remake. And then all of a sudden it gets scrapped for the Sci-Fi Channel or the one from Rob Moore. And if they just use different names of characters, it just aggravates me. But people like it, that's fine. Really like the first Voyage to the Bottom, the first Sequest Voyage, including the Walter Pigeon film. Yeah, the first Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea with Walter Pigeon is a good movie. In college, I had friends who loved the new BG, but not enough Muppets for my taste. Does that mean, Doc, do I take it, Doc, that you were a Farscape fan, which is a cool show? Westworld season 1, but burn the rest of the seasons. Oh, I have not seen that. Gwag, I heard people do like it, though. Did you see the trailer Richard Hatch made for the BSG continuation? I did. Ironhide. I saw it at Dragon Con when he first showed it. The first year he showed it. It looked awesome. Yep. Dirk Benedict was rightly pissed off that they gender swapped Star. Agreed. I was too. True. Ravenscroft, they did use the names. What's up, Eric? Yo, bro, what's happening? I like the Westworld movie. I didn't watch. There was a TV show that lasted 5 episodes in the 80s, but I didn't watch the new Westworld. Ravenscroft, do you agree that no one should ever touch or remake Blake 7? I do agree. If they try it, I might have to take a hostage. No, they need to leave it alone. Yes. There's been threats of it, Ravenscroft. That's why I'm kind of happy that it's almost a good thing that Blake 7 has hovered beneath the radar in a sense. Everybody knows Doctor Who. Everybody knows about Doctor Who. Everybody knows about Star Trek. Everybody knows about Star Wars and all those things. When you mention Blake 7, if around a bunch of geeks, a lot of people go, oh, yeah, I watch this. Well, are fans. But anywhere else, nah. Like, in other words, if you mention Star Trek and a bunch of normies, they'll know what it is. I mean, they'll know what Star Wars is. They might even know what Doctor Who is now for them, especially, in the UK and things like that. But right now, if you said, how about Blake 7? They go, but geeks will know, but, no one else, which is a good thing. Leave it alone. Just like, by the way, let's see. Filmation, animation versions of Fantastic Voyage and Journey to the Center of the Earth were worthy of, yep. Yes. Love those. It's just like Straczynski wanted to remake Babylon 5. A couple years ago, we were getting threats of a CW Babylon 5. Can you think of a worse idea? You probably can, but don't do it. No, not much though. Doc Fortune said, I had no idea about UFO or Blake 7 until I started watching this channel. Oh, really? No. Thank you, Doc. I appreciate that. UFO is a great one. I love it. And I love my Blake 7. We're going to be reviewing the second episode tomorrow night. Even with the Great Darrow in it, it would never have been the same. Leave it alone. It was perfect as it was, and no modern retelling will add anything. Thank you. Exactly, Ravenscroft. But there have been Blake 7 threats of a remake for a while, but the ratings are so crappy on New Doctor Who, I think it kind of just said, nah. And if they do it, it would just be, oh, God. Although, if they do it, I'll just ignore it. There's no way I'll watch it. And no, I'm not going to let anyone talk me into it, but yeah, Doc, that's for sure, huh? A worse idea than JMS. A worse idea from J. Yeah, though, his comics are, I've liked a handful of his comics, but most of his comics have been atrocious. JMS can't write most superheroes. His Spider-Man stuff suckles. His Superman stuff sucks. His DC stuff suckles bad. Oh man, he needs to stay away from. I remember he wrote a. There's that comic when they brought back the title of Brave and Bold a number of years ago, and it was a slick prestige format, like a slick format, and they had nice art like George Perez and stuff like that. He did an issue. I'll never forget. He did an issue that had the Legion, and the next one had like the Legion of Substitute Heroes, and they were that's like the Silver Age, Golden or Bronze or whatever Legion. I was so excited. I get it, and I was like, I read it. I'm like, man, did JMS ever read a Legion of Superheroes comic? Because I don't think you have, JMS. I don't think you have. Clearly you haven't read one. So he threatened us with a I mean, not just a B5 remake, a CW B5 remake. Hey, Don. Good to see you, buddy. A CW. Look, you can't. Look, and Eric, I don't blame you. Said I revolt when they redo Farscape. Don't blame you. Maybe CW will do that one too. I don't know. A CW B5. Yeah, I thought he was trolling at first, but then I've never heard anything about it since. And he did that animated film, which is kind of okay. I got that animated movie he just did. It was kind of fun for fans, like a love letter to fans. Talking random sci-fi series of old, Empress M says, what do you think of V, the miniseries 83 Clobberin Times? Personally, I loved it. I loved it so much that I even loved the final battle. And a lot of people don't like that. You know, Kenneth Johnson, who produced like the Hulk TV show and stuff. He produced V the first miniseries, but did not the final battle. He didn't like the final battle. And he didn't like the final battle of the TV series, but I liked the final battle. And just recently, I never, when the series came on, so I don't know what I was doing, but I really didn't watch much of it. So just recently, I think Tubi had the TV shows, like 19 episodes of the VTV series. You talk about a mess. Any of you ever watched the TV show, the regular series that ran 19 episodes, like at 87 or 80, whatever it was, 88, whatever it was? Because it picked up about a year after the final battle. And you had Tyler and Donovan. It was cool. Yeah, Ham Tyler was the greatest. That's why I love. Michael Ironside's fantastic, dude. So it picked up. So had Michael Ironside on the show. That's going to be pretty cool. And it was interesting. It was okay, and I'm watching. Then, like the last couple of episodes, they did a lot of weird stuff. A lot of people left the show. I don't know all the scoop or story behind it. I plan to find out. But I'm watching it, going, "Hey, man, everybody's leaving the show." Michael Ironside left it for the last and then the last few episodes. It's like they didn't care what was going on anymore. So I don't know, man. But I love the final battle. I'll tell you what, V, the first series especially, when that came on in 1983, that was must-see TV. Everybody was watching it. It wasn't just like geeks or something. Everybody was watching that sucker. My parents were watching it, and they don't like any science fiction. None. I'm the first one in my family to have the geek gene. They wouldn't watch Star Trek or Star Wars. I dragged them to Empire Strikes Back. You thought I'd put them in a torture chamber. Back when it came out in 1980, I went and saw it. And I even tried to stop myself. I don't think you're going to like it, but if you're going, I'm going. We want to go see it, because I was so nuts over it. Didn't like it. They don't like space stuff, I love it to death, but they don't like space stuff. They wouldn't watch science fiction unless it's like, something Earth to do with it. But they liked V. And everybody did, but it was huge. Yeah, Ironside rules. Yeah, Ravenscroft, that's the thing. It was like toward the end of the series, Tyler left and Chris left, and I guess some other ones did. It was like maybe they knew they were getting canceled. I don't know. You know, he's still out there. Michael Ironside. I remember, was it a movie that came out a year or so back called Nobody, which was pretty cool. You know, he's in that movie, and I didn't recognize him until I saw the end credits. And I thought, that was Michael Ironside? Jesus. Yeah, so. Let's see. My dad was a very untrusting individual. My dad was a very untrusting individual in the show. In the show, when they announced scientists, mainly anthropologists, and went missing, he went, "They're probably lizards." Lizards. Ironside's only 73. I'm telling you what, man. I didn't know that was him and Nobody. My dad wasn't really into that stuff either. He was blown away when we saw Star Wars in 77, but that was one of the few. My mom liked V a lot. Yeah. Mine don't like any of that stuff, but they liked V. So there you go. But that's why I constantly hear people say, "Oh yeah, I used to watch, Doctor Who with my dad when I was younger, or Star Wars, all kinds of stuff." But I did watch stuff with my dad. Now we had cable very early on in the 70s, and I used to watch. Well, we used to watch Wanted Dead or Alive, The Life of Riley, The Honeymooners. We used to watch the Rockford Files together, and even Night Stalker, Kolchak. So I did watch stuff with my dad. Some of those things always make me think of my dad when I think of some of those shows watching with him. Because my dad's pretty cool. Yep, I watched Westerns and detective shows with my dad. So, yeah. But anyway, I was the first one with the geek gene, though. I like that one. Brian Upton, you watch Benny Hill with your dad. There you go. Rockford Files, love it. Yeah. I used to think my dad looked like Rockford back then for some reason. Oh, man. God, it was a good show. There's another one. You know, they actually tried a freaking failed pilot of the Rockford Files. Ugh. Yeah, Gunsmoke's a great show. Yeah. You know why Gunsmoke lasted, though? It was weird because it lasted because the head of TV production at the time at CBS, his wife loved it. That was enough. Okay. But I've gone back and watched a lot of those Gunsmokes. That was a pretty good show now. Especially early on. It was also pretty good later on when they went Festus on there too, Matthew. Tarnation. No, everyone has a different origin though when it comes to the parents and stuff like that. My dad introduced me to Star Wars, Star Trek, and Superman 78, and he was not a geek and thought all the stuff was silly, but he introduced you to it, so that's cool. My dad liked Trek and Star Wars, but his commentary on the Cantina was, "It probably stinks to high heaven in there. Desert planet, Harry Wookiee, burnt Greedo. No one says, what's that smell?" Your dad sounds like he was a character. Very cool. Yeah, well, that's great stuff there. So I'm trying to think. Again, those of you who are Doctor Who fans, what exactly they do for Doctor Who for November? Sort of planning stages of that now. One, I'm going to be counting down my top 25 favorite episodes, of course. I'm trying to think of some other stuff to do, though. Favorite of the 55 of the 500 doctors that they have? Nope. Twilight Zone, great show, Doc. Love it. And Outer Limits. I love the original Outer Limits. You are about to experience the awe and then magic. and mystery that runs from the inner mind to the outer limits. We now return control of your television to you. When Han said, "What an interesting smell you discovered" in the trash compactor, Dad went, "That's what the bar patron said when he smoked Greedo." Wow, he was. I watched football with my dad. College and NFL, says Eric. Oh yeah, I watched that one, mine too. Yes, sir. Are you ready for some football? Football has changed, dude. Ain't what it once was, but it's still there. It's just weird. It's faster, but yeah. Well. So my cousins introduced me to. Let's see. D-Bud says, my cousins introduced me to Star Trek. They were watching the Apple. So the next week I watched it, and it was my now favorite episode, the Doomsday Machine. I was hooked. Greatness. Love it. Jonah Hex, what's up, dude? Yeah, football has changed, but I still look at it. I got it. But even though I had the 2 years there where I totally swore it off, I'm sort of back, but I'm sort of not. I don't think I'll ever be in love with it again like I used to, except for the old schools, the old stuff, of course, the NFL film stuff. But yeah. Ironhide, yeah, Outer Limits had a lot of great ones too. I mean, Demon with a Glass Hand, The Inheritors, The Xanti Misfits, The Sixth Finger. Wow, that was a great one, man. A Wild World of Sports, says Brian. Yeah. Yep. Oh my word. Now you can just go watch the highlights. You're so spoiled. You can just go watch like those 12-minute clips that have the plays from every game at, on the end of a Sunday night for the pro games. Anti-derivativeness. Jilly, what's up? How are you, dear? Good to see you. D-Bud says, hey, my team left town twice. Fooled me twice. No thanks. So what, D-Bud, are you saying you didn't follow the Raiders to Las Vegas? Or at least you're not a fan anymore? It'll never sound right to me, Las Vegas Raiders. I'm sorry. Ravenscroft, I haven't watched much of the new Outer Limits, though. I've heard, like our buddy Mark D with the C, he likes it. And I actually did like the 85 Twilight Zone. I didn't like that later one. Ezra Goldstein, what's up, buddy? Just got through talking some Doctor Who a little while ago. But, and we'll do more. The Architects of Fear, yes, Gwagnar, Alan Moore's Rip. Love the Outer Limits and Twilight Zone. Been a while since I did my yearly rewatch, says Eric. Yes. Good to see you there, Jilly. But yeah, I like, there were some really good episodes of the 85 CBS Twilight Zone show. They even adapted a Harlan Ellison story that he approved, I think. So, wow. That's weird. There's an episode of New Outer Limits that scared the crap out of me. It involves prisoners being converted into another race by alien captors. Wow. The Raiders were never the same after they left Oakland, true, the first time, but they did win a Super Bowl as Los Angeles, The mystique was gone. I'm just saying, they won one. They did win them as they've won one as they've won one as two as Oakland and one as Los Angeles, right? So there you go. My dad never never forgave them after the first time they left. He is still a bit of a closet Raiders fan. Yeah, I understand that, though. The new Outer Limits has some episodes, but nothing beats the original. Agreed, Gwagnar. Now, see, absolutely. Now, San Diego fans, that would really, make me sick. Them going to Los Angeles like they did. Chargers fans got screwed. That's awful. Poor old Chargers fans. The first year of their existence, they were the Los Angeles Chargers. Then after that, ever since that, they were the San Diego Chargers until they weren't. That was the John Hatcher thinking of Night Gallery. But Rod Serling. Oh, sorry. With the wrong one there. These things move on you so fast. The show with the paintings was Night Gallery. Rod Serling of the Twilight Zone fame. That show will give you the willies, man. That was a spooky show. Night Gallery. That had some scary ass episodes of that one, my friend. And I was a youngster watching that damn thing, and it gave me nightmares sometimes. Hell yeah. Jill says, I spent a lot of my teenage years watching the new Outer Limits with my rabbit ears on a 15-inch TV. Well, there you go. A lot of people, like I said, wasn't that a Showtime show or something? Oh, yeah, I saw that earlier, Donnie. Yes, R.I.P. Burt Young. Yo, Paulie, yo, Paulie. Yep, the Rockies Paulie, amongst other things. R.I.P., sir. Night Gallery might be a decent one for you to review on the Clubhouse. I'm too scared. I'm scared to review that one, Ravenshoff. And Raquel, oh no, I'm not letting her watch that. Charger fans were majorly screwed. Dean Spanos, yeah, Dean Spanos is one of the worst. Ezra, yes, Burt Young, Piper Laurie, a lot of people. Well, there were a lot of them. We were talking at the beginning of the show. I was talking about the passing of Mark Goddard from Lost in Space, of course. Clobberin, the Spielberg produced show Amazing Stories was great, and also has some scary episodes that stick with me to this day. I don't know if I watched them all. I liked it. It was pretty cool. I think I liked a few of them, but I don't really, Doc, I don't think I watched all of them. I watched the one that Robert Zemeckis directed with that had Christopher Lloyd in it. I seem to remember that one. Yep, Burt Young was great. I hadn't seen anything. I haven't seen him in anything forever. I mean, he wasn't even in that Rocky Balboa film, was he? I don't think he was. The character Paulie was killed off, wasn't he? 1985 Twilight Zone featured a lot of Hugo Award-winning stories like The Star and The Cold Equations. Also, not a Hugo, but a Paladin of the Lost Hour. They had Harlan Ellis, an episode of Shatterday that they adapted for the first episode of that one, the 85 Twilight Zone. Clobby, I so enjoy your chats and only wish I could stay longer. Be well, my friends, and hope to see you for B7 tomorrow. I hope to see you for that as well. We're having great fun reviewing Blake 7. And Ravenscroft, thank you so much for being here. Tales from the Dark Side had many good episodes. I used to watch that a little bit. That used to come on in syndication. It was on late at night on Sunday nights where we were. Hey, Oliver Belamonte says DC plans to re-release Batman Death in the Family. Yeah, it's a gimmick book though, because I heard about it the other day at the con. By December, but with one twist: Jason Todd survives. It seems it's just another cast grade. It is. They've already done that with a video. So I voted. Look, I had my shop at that time, and I voted to kill that little sucker. It was a 976 number. Remember those? Never saw a Twilight Zone 85, so I never knew there was an adaptation of The Cold Equations. Great story. It was some cool stuff in that one. Yes, indeed, Jill. We're viewing episode 2 tomorrow night, so we're not too far along. They had an episode with Tales from the Dark Side with Darren McGavin. Burt Young was in a movie called All the Marbles that starred Peter Falk. Oh yeah, it was a movie about female professional wrestling. I do remember it not well, but I remember it. Joe Dog, what is up? Let's see. Hi, Club. I'm having a bad day today. Are you really? Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, my friend. I wish I could help make it better, but I'm glad you're here anyway. And kick back a little bit while we're just geeking out. If you have any geek questions to ask me, please feel free. Fanty says, oh no, I protest. I spent $5 to kill that little crap, Jason. Yeah, I hated. Now, again, looking back, Damien's way worse. I hate Damien. But I did not like Jason Todd just on principle. I mean, he doesn't need he didn't need another Robin, Dick Grayson's Robin. Did the Twilight Zone transition from CBS to syndication and Straczynski became a writer on it? They did bring it back. It lasted maybe one season on CBS in '85. I don't know when it came back though, but it did come back. And I know it was on the Paramount Network or something like that at one point. I mean, UPN or whatever. I've seen the first one. I just need to watch the episode. Oh, okay, gotcha, Jill. There you go. I just watched that one again last night for the 10 millionth time. It's called Spacefall. Let's see, up in here. Oh, there we go. We're caught up right now, I think. But yes, there were some pretty good episodes. Oh my goodness, we have a shock visitor.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, dude? Welcome.
Doing good. Doing better, yep. I had a minor bout of shore leave, but feeling better.
Dr. McCoy pulled you through?
Yeah, he pulled me through. He showed up with a pill and said, "What are you doing here?
You got a new
this
kidney.
Is barbaric." Yeah, I got 3 kidneys now, thanks to Doc McCoy. Yep.
Thanks, Doc. Yeah, Doc.
Good ones.
Yeah, Richard Matheson, I Am Legend, What Dreams wrote a lot of the classic Twilight Zone episodes, and he's written Star Trek. Yeah, I've been getting into Savage Land Rogue, says Joe Dog. Savage Land Rogue is pretty hot. So, is that why your day's been bad, or is that a comic I'm missing or something? I don't know. I mean, I know I need more context. For example, Rogue. I've seen drawings and art and she's been in the comic and the Savage Land Rogue has. So you said I've been getting into Savage Land Rogue. Is that a series called that or something? Maybe because I know of her being in the Savage Land in comics. So I'm gonna need a little bit more context, if you know what I'm saying. If you wouldn't mind. But yes, there was only one Robin, Burt Ward. I mean Dick Grayson. Yeah, yes. We were just talking about that faux simile, not facsimile that they're doing of Batman Death in the Family.
Yeah. I heard about that.
He's gonna be alive.
Where Robin lives. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it was your fault that Robin died, right? Didn't you vote?
Not just me. Fanty did too, and so did everyone else here, apparently.
I had the comic, but I don't think I voted. You had actually to call back in the day.
It was a 976 number. A lot of mommies probably didn't want that their kids dialing it, but they got in trouble. The new Twilight Zone that was on CBS ran from 85 to 89. That long? I remember the 85s. Hey, DJ Ronnie G, good to see you. I didn't realize it went that long. Ezra, I like a lot of the ones from 85. I just don't remember all of them, but I remember some of them. And I like that first one, Saturday, there was a Harlan Ellison story, and Bruce Willis was in that one. But that's some pretty good ones. They were okay. It's been a while. So, yeah, and of course, Bart here's a big fan of new Outer Limits. They were talking about that earlier.
Oh yeah, love the new Outer Limits. I mean, not every episode is good, but not every episode of most episodes are pretty darn good of the original Outer Limits. But it's nothing like when we get a reboot today, at least. We got some really great stories, and there's a couple of them I think are all-time classics. I got to do some watch parties for them, but and they actually interconnected some episodes together too, which was nice. So they had like recurring storylines throughout the series on that Outer Limits episode. So and it was also on Showtime, and it was rated R too. So not that I approved of that, but I think they got a few extra eyeballs on that one. It was the girl from Who's the Boss, who's now just a political junkie.
Oh, the idiot Alyssa Milano.
Yeah, she was. There was a lot of her on some of those episodes. Yep.
Nice.
So Yeah.
Joe
Not that you
Dog.
need that stuff, but yeah.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Joe Dog says it's the Uncanny X-Men 268 and 69. Oh, I got you. I see. I remember she was at the Savage Land, of course. And plus, it's work night that is putting me in a bad mood. Work can do that, buddy. I understand, man. Sorry about that. But yeah, I was just wondering which issue you were. And at least that's not modern stuff. So unless that's a new numbering of, unless that is modern. I mean, 269 sounds like 80s. Could be wrong.
Yeah, it must be late 80s, I think.
Yeah. This is a show from the 80s, 90s. There's a show from the 80s, 90s called American Gothic with Gary Cole that I have been trying to find and rewatch. I know of the show. I don't. Sorry, it was 90. It was 95. American Gothic.
Pretty close.
Remember that show Gary Cole did called Midnight Caller, where he was a radio show host, but he would go out and solve crimes solve murders during the commercials.
I'm trying to remember that one.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Didn't
Good
last,
short
yep.
1985 episode. It was a good short 1985 of Twilight Zone. Ivan Newton. Okay, coolness.
Yeah, and the Twilight Zone. Yeah, the Twilight Zone series was good too. So again, yeah, but I mean, my God, if you look at the latest stuff that came out, the travesty that they did that first season of the allegedly new Twilight Zone. Oh my God! I mean,
scored off of that
it's different between saying, "Oh yeah, that wasn't that good of an episode," but between saying, "Oh, this would never be," this isn't Twilight Zone. So, yeah, it's yeah, there's some good stuff there.
You're roboting.
Oh, I'm roboting.
Your mic went in and out. We lost you for a second.
Let me check what my settings here. Oh, maybe it's just bad interwebs. Sorry.
Oh, could be. Ironheart says, wasn't Watchmen ending ripped off from the Architects of Fear? Part of it was, yes. In Days of Future Past from an episode of Doctor Who. Yes. And yes. Well, Days of Future Past, I'm not so sure about. Because Days of Future Past, was back in the early 80s. And I don't know of any Doctor Who episode predating that they could have ripped it from. Unless my memory's playing tricks. But Architects of Fear, yes, Alan Moore did use it for Watchmen. I love Savage Land Rogue overall, but I'm not a fan of Jim Lee. Not me either. Everyone else seems to like him, but me either, Joe Dog. I don't like Jim Lee that much. Even though, as I always say, we were born on the same day. Weird, ain't it? Weird. I'm currently watching The Terror, about a Dune polar voyage to Franklin expedition. Oh, okay. There you go. Don't know. I hadn't heard
that was pretty darn good too. Yeah, that was a 1-season episode, but that was pretty good. It's like there's a quote unquote a yeti or some kind of creature in that. But
right.
Yeah, it was darn
yeti.
Good. Yeah,
that was ripped off from Doctor Who. I remember reading John Byrne admitted to subconsciously stole the idea from the John Pertwee episode about the time travelers fighting Daleks. Yeah, okay, yeah, that was Day of the Daleks. Yeah, that is. You know what? It is similar to that. In a way, it is. There you go. That's the only episode I could think of it could be. So good. Thank you, Ironhide. The episode's called Day of the Daleks, by the way. It's one of 3 times Pertwee battled the Daleks.
And you're talking earlier about the first Doctor Who episode won't be streaming because of the son, I guess. Yeah, well, I guess he's mad at. I think he's mad at the BBC.
Well, yeah.
So he's not gonna. Of course, that episode is everywhere anyway.
Yeah. How's he gonna get it off of BritBox? But the thing about that is, all right, look, I'm not for crappy corporations stealing and stuff. He was just on the staff there, and this is like, holy crap, 60 years later that the man died in 1977. So the son, all the years later, I guess, decides to go after it now of all times. I mean, actually 10 years ago, he tried it also, but then now what I don't understand though is, so does that mean what's going to happen? What about other descendants of other writers who worked for the DVC. I mean, there are a lot of
Yeah, how
people's
does that
names all
work?
over Doctor Who. I don't know how it works.
Because
But
I thought that
why aren't they
once
coming
it's
out of the
on,
woodwork?
yeah, I thought it once that they broadcast it, they own it, right, to show it again. I would think. I mean, but what do I know? I'm not a lawyer, but that's
It's
kind of
the
weird, right? I mean, it's been shown for years, unless maybe
yeah.
they have to, because it's streaming. It's new, so they had to go into the something new. They have to get permission for. Maybe I don't know, or if someone in the
Yeah.
chat knows. That'd be great to know why. But
I don't understand it. I mean, in other words, you'd think they would that one episode, why not all the episodes? I mean, they're all
why
written by
not keep
different
Timeless
people.
Children off forever?
Yes,
and
so
erase
the
it.
idiots destroyed Timeless Children. We were talking about that earlier. Ugh.
Yeah.
Which Marvel or DC cosmic weapon would you prefer to wield? Infinity Gauntlet, Mother Box, Cosmic Cube, Blue Beetle, Scarab, or Thor's Hammer? Well, my answer is easy. I'm going to choose the Cosmic Cube because I could do whatever I want. I mean, you could change everything all the time. Mess with reality. I mean, I'd never leave the house.
Well, couldn't you also do that with the Infinity Gauntlet too, in some kind of ways?
Well, it has to have the Reality Stone, but no, we're talking about there's the thing: the movie Infinity Gauntlet or the comic Infinity Gauntlet.
That's true, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Different powers,
the
right?
Cosmic Cube is something different from that in the comic.
Yeah.
But the Cosmic Cube in the movie is just a Tesseract, and it turned out to be holding an Infinity Stone, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I mean, I guess you could do the same. Yeah, I don't know. The Infinity Gauntlet could do all that stuff too, I guess, but I don't know. A Mother Box is pretty cool now.
Yeah, that's cool.
A Mother Box you can. Well, actually, we all kind of have a Mother Box with us now. It's called our that computer we carry
phone.
with us.
Yeah.
It has a phone app on it. That's pretty much a Mother Box, except for like the boom. We don't have a boom tube on it yet, though. So, what about you?
Well, I mean, I guess the Cosmic Cube is a lot more fashion conscious than having to wield that Infinity Gauntlet and carry it around, right? I mean, it's similar powers in some ways. I mean, but there's such a different cosmic power level there. So, I mean, God, to have Mjolnir, that would be darn. That'd be fly with that and
cool,
be Thor. That'd be pretty darn cool. And the
fly
Blue
with the
Beetle
Cosmic
Scarab, I
Cube.
don't know if I want that thing going up my what and transforming me and going in your body. I mean, if you saw the movie, I mean, comics, it didn't look as bad, but God, that was ouch. But yeah, maybe I'd stick with if I had to be like a superhero item, I'd go with the Thor's hammer. But for power, Cosmic Cube or Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Don Ranger Power. I saw some of your probably some of the guys you like a lot over at NYCC. I saw Austin St. John. I didn't get to see talk to him, but I saw him, and Walter Jones was there, and I was taking pictures of Walter just for you. Well, me too, but the guy's like, no candids of Walter. You have to get online to take a picture. I'm like, I'm just walking by taking a picture of my friend. It's like, I've never heard of that where they say no. I mean, if it's in a special room for for autographs or pictures, that's different. But he was on the main convention floor. What they're doing, they're at booths, so they the booth hires the person to drive up traffic, obviously, but yeah, it was like, what are you, you're not gonna try to grab my phone now either, right? Yeah. So but yeah, it was fun to see. And there's a huge line for him. Wow, it was wrapped around the block, so to speak. So I did not get a picture with him, but I did get an illegal candid, I guess. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
The way the convention cookie crumbles. Damn it. That suckles.
Yeah.
But at least hopefully you had a good time though until
it was fun. Yeah.
Until later. Yeah. There you go.
Well, until I wiped out on the and we don't do politics here, but the reason I wiped out was because it was a bus of refugees at the Roosevelt Hotel being dropped off, and I stepped on a grate in the rain because the sidewalk was all blocked. I was reading about that today, so I really wiped out pretty badly, but I'm okay. But yeah, that That
Yeah.
was that's why the sidewalk was all blocked. So, but yeah, it was a great day, and it's just it's so crowded there. So next Sunday, we'll give you the rundown. But yeah, it was
Looking forward to
it was
that.
a lot of fun. Yep.
There are a lot of Doctor Who ideas owned by the creators. K9, that's true. And the Daleks by Terry Nation, that's true. Got a series based K9. Well, no, K9 though, they licensed them out. BBC owns them. I mean, with the writer had some kind of deal though. I think maybe. I know the Daleks are owned by Terry Nation. They got to, BBC has a deal though, and they have to. That's why they every couple of years they have to have a Dalek story.
Oh, to keep the rights.
Oh yeah, there's a reason why there's so many Dalek stories. Give me a Green Lantern ring and a Phantom Zone projector, and I will figure the rest out for myself. That works. I'd love a Green Lantern ring. That would be fun. But yes, they have to every so often. They have to do a Dalek story. That's why you have every Doc fights Daleks.
Yep.
That's the way it is. And there was a time. Now they got all these fancy effects and stuff. Directors on old episodes of Doctor Who, boy, they hated directing Daleks.
I can only imagine with the tech back then, right?
So messed up. It's when any like the producers and stuff would go ask some of their friends who were directors, so you want to direct a Doctor Who episode? Only if they don't have to direct the tin cans.
Yeah, well, it's got to be pretty tough, right? I mean,
yeah. But they were really
now they do CGI, and then the robot controls are much easier. K9 was a nightmare in the original series to operate and get to work, and I love K9, but yeah, same thing with R2D2, the original tech.
Oh yeah,
that's why they had a person in the suit, but they had a remote control R2D2 that really wouldn't work that well. Yeah.
Did you see that stupid K9 show they made in Australia?
No.
A few years ago, back like in the 2000s or something like that. Not too long after School Reunion came out, and it was totally nothing other than being called K9. It was totally nothing to do with Doctor Who, but it was licensed to them. It was like he looked like crappy flies. It's terrible.
Huh.
Watched a couple of them, or like one or two of them. Oh, man, back when they came on, it sucks. I didn't even say affirmative, master, because there was no one to say it to. It is time, and I think the doctor is involved.
Larry, they didn't have little Dalek people in there.
What?
I mean, he's saying there's no tech back then. Yeah, I can imagine it was probably just some lights and the person in the tin can, right? So, and the first Daleks probably there were just minimal tech. Yeah,
that's the easiest.
That's why it was so tough.
Oh yeah, the easiest question I've ever had was Joe Dog asked, Clobby, what's your favorite Fantastic Four issue? Well, it's number 51, and Mark and I here have actually about maybe a year or so ago we reviewed the whole issue. Did we not?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
This monster, of course, Jack Kirby masterpiece. Number 51 FF is easily, without even hesitating, my favorite. And that's against a lot of great competition, though. But that's my favorite FF issue. Love it, sir.
That's when the FF finally got good, right? Up issue 50.
Right after
just
it,
kidding.
Yeah. Don't even get me started.
Damn it.
I read that Chameleon was a nightmare doctor. Just so they could. There was no way they could have kept him as a companion. It was kind of cool. So much they just cut him from the show. They barely used him and then got rid of him. Chameleon, because it would have been cool to have a companion like that. You remember Chameleon?
I do not remember Chameleon. What series was that?
In 1983, the 20th anniversary season, they introduced a character, a robot that could, could turn into anybody, or give the illusion that he's anybody.
Like the Chameleon Circuit. Okay.
In an episode called King's Demons, the Master had him, using him but eventually, the Doctor saved him from the Master, and he, it was a pretty cool looking robot. It was you could tell it was very unwieldy. There was no way you were going to make him a regular part of the show, but they just left him off in the TARDIS, and when then episode after episode, what happened? And you kind of go even back in the what happened to Chameleon?
Yeah,
and
you can't see him.
Yeah, he's just busy, And he was laying in the back. Then in the last episode of the season, Planet of Fire, they dealt with that. And so, yeah. But let's see here. What do we have here? Daleks are part of the reason why I find it hard to start watching, says DJ Ronnie G. I hear you there, but Daleks are the reason there is a Doctor Who, though. Because DJ, when the show first aired, and boy, that first episode, those first 4 especially, are a slog to get through. An Unearthly Child and the 3 after it. It was right the day after Kennedy was shot, but it was they immediately followed it up with the next serial, the next 6-parter was the episode called The Daleks. And I remember that there was like the BBC, they were inundated with calls from parents like, get those horrible things off of TV, all that stuff. But kids running around exterminating everybody, running around playing like Daleks. And it became the next huge, it just became the next big craze. It's as big, it was as big a thing over there in the 60s as Batmania was here. Dalek Mania was like our Batmania, and it was just gigantic. And it saved the show. The show was about to it was over. It was going to be canceled. And the popularity of the Daleks became, so we owe, even if you don't like Daleks, the Daleks aren't everyone's favorite, but they are, we owe them, if anyone who's a fan of the show owes that. Yeah. So, by the way, RTNZ, thank you for that super chat, and it's good to see you. Says can't stay today.
Thank you.
Came to say live long and prosper. Well, live long and prosper to you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Joe Dog says Fantastic Four 136 is my favorite FF cover. We'll have to. Is that a Steranko cover on a John Buscema interior or no? Now I got to. Let me see. I'll take a look at it because I've had it, and Mark has it, but it used to be in my collection, not anymore, unfortunately.
No, that's too bad. Yep.
Yeah, but let's see. All right, let me see which cover we're talking about here. Well, I see why. Yeah, that's a John Buscema. Whoops. So that's your favorite cover?
Can't see it yet. You got it.
Oh no, yeah, okay, I guess it's
yeah.
I'll show it.
You're gonna show it, yep.
Thank you again, R. Appreciate you. Let's see. Share screen. There we go. All right. The Wild One Cometh. So that's your favorite cover, huh? Well,
that's Marlon Brando. Trying to remember if I have that issue.
I don't know.
Probably should. Let me check.
That's a cool cover. I can remember some of the Steranko covers. Really cool too. The Wild One Cometh. Wild, not Wild One.
Thankfully, Medusa has hair there.
Yep. Yeah. The first Fantastic Four comics I read were the Wade Wieringo run, and whatever you want to say about Wade, he made me a fan of them. The team. I liked this first run. I didn't like the second one much, but I really did enjoy Wade and Wieringo. Rest
was very well regarded. Yeah,
he died very young, tragically. Mike Wieringo, he was a great artist, and so I'm with you there, Doc. It was I enjoyed. That was, in fact, I dumped the book a long time before that. Only going back sporadically once in a while, intervals. But that was one that got me back to the book for a while. So yeah, I liked it.
Was that like the last modern comic you read? Maybe.
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Newer comic. I mean, that
was a long time. That's like 20 years ago now.
Well, I know. I'm just saying, was that the last, like, when you actually read a whole series of modern comics. I'm saying, was that the
Oh,
last?
oh no,
No, it was too old. Okay, just checking, just checking.
Good
Yeah.
lordy.
Well, you know,
No, it's. I'll
because
tell
you
you, it's
said you dropped that in the '90s, right? So
no. I went back. I've told you, I went back, but I didn't. I stayed away from Marvel a lot in the 2000s, but I went back to
okay,
DC for a while when they fixed Hal Jordan for a spell.
yeah,
I think
gotcha.
the Daleks got way overexposed in modern Doctor Who. Yeah, that's right. I hear you. But like I said, they were trying to keep that copyright going. RR says, been rewatching Daredevil TV show, forgot how amazing it was and how well written. Cheers. I'm out here. Good night. Good night. Yes, I love that show.
Good night. Yeah, because Wade and Rango, I believe, started issue 500, 2003. My God, that was that long ago. Wow. I believe that was their first run.
Freaking 20 years now. Jeez.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah, but that was that was a good run though. And then later, well, Straczynski, another thing he couldn't write was a Fantastic Four. Jesus, he did a run that I hated, and then Wade went back for a little while, and it wasn't quite as good, but still, good stuff. Wade's been a good writer, and I like a lot of his work. It's just he's a tool.
Yeah, so he did 500 to 524.
Yeah.
So he ended in 2005. And let's see, when did he come back? Straczynski was on it for a while, and then Wade came back. Oh no, it was just this one special issue, 527. Straczynski. When did Wade come back? Let's see here. Dylan McDuffie wrote it.
Dwayne McDuffie was okay. I read some of those here and there sporadically. Yeah. I kept trying,
Well, I was going to say that one went to Mark Millar, actually.
Yeah. Oh God, I read some of that. Yeah. Needs to stay off of Fantastic Four.
We had Mark
Straczynski
Millar.
was worse though.
And then,
which he didn't do it for very long, Straczynski, but.
And then we had Hickman.
Where was Straczynski?
Straczynski was after
Wade, right?
After Wade, yeah. So he was like 527. Let's see here. Yeah, 527, 525. Oh, that's Casel. Yeah, 527, Straczynski. Then we had Millar for a while, then Hickman. And Hickman. A lot of Hickman, wow.
He did it for a long
Robinson.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robinson was not good. I didn't get into a lot of people like the Hickman stuff.
Yeah, but, people like that. Yeah. What's the latest book here? Yeah, let's see here. 640.
What are you looking for?
Oh no, I'm just looking at the issues here, the FF here. Yeah, the new stuff. Yeah.
I will defend Hickman. That's cool. A lot of people like I did say, Doc. A lot of people like the Hickman run. Now, I did not read much of it because I was just getting kind of tired of. I had it recommended to me a lot. Let's put it like that. So I'm not against it or averse to it. Can't be it can't be worse than Slot. So, but nothing can be.
I mean, FF is up to the 7th series now. It's like, oh god, they got to keep going back to 0. Yeah, it's
idiots. I mean, I know what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's number 7 now.
Ezra, I want to address some of these here. Ezra says, the reason Chameleon was cut from Doctor Who was because the inventor of Chameleon had died. Wow, really? They couldn't. I mean, it was just too unworkable anyway as a special effect. Debus had no desire to see the Australian Canine series, just him with Doctor Who and Sarah Jane. And of course, the Sarah Jane adventures were great too. I like those. Oliver Almonte said, I hate Marvel and DC storylines of Spider-Man and Batman. Peter tries to kill MJ's hubby, Paul, while in DC Gotham War, Bruce is against Catwoman's methods of running Gotham City. Sounds like drivel to me. You got my vote. So he did 2 books at the same time, Fantastic Four and FF. Meaning Hickman. So there you go. What you looking for now?
I'm just trying to see what the latest issue of FF.
The latest? You got that? You didn't buy that, did you?
I
You
do
and-
buy that. Don't
You
out
and
me.
Raymond.
Yeah.
I was on with Raymond
Completist.
today, and he buys that stuff too. I'm like,
Oh, you
dude.
did. You reviewed that Invisible Woman
He
series
reviewed
from
that. I got there late.
2018.
I was too late anyway, but I haven't read it anyway.
Yeah, was it
Is that what
2020
it's
or
from?
2018
2018?
or
Is that what
something like
is
that?
that
Yeah.
new?
Yeah, it was actually a Black Widow story, but it was set back. One of those where they tell
Yeah.
you an old adventure. So it was. I vaguely remember. I think it was set with Black Widow, and they had an adventure together.
Huh. Let's see. Are you guys looking forward to Silent Night? Says Joe Dog. I don't know a whole lot about it, to be honest, Joe Dog. I've heard some things, that, so I can't say that I am, but I'm not against it either. I don't really know much about you.
Yeah, it looked interesting. Could be good. Yeah, I mean,
saw a commercial.
I don't
or
get
something.
I
An
don't
ad
get
for
so
it.
excited about stuff these days, unfortunately,
Mm-mm.
which is kind of jaded. But yeah, it could be. Could look like it could be pretty darn decent.
Fanty said that Invisible Woman book was meh, by the way.
It's man, okay, yeah,
He's
it's been
obviously
so
still
long.
sick. He continues to buy. He is a sick person.
I need help.
You got your
I
new
need
stuff
help.
now or no? You got any new stuff lately?
Nothing this week, no, because I think they ship it basically every 2 weeks.
Oh,
Once, they to save on shipping, they wait till you get a big enough load of comics before they ship it to you.
Load. Oh yeah, well there you go. What can you do?
Yeah, right. What can you do?
What can you do? What can you do with it? So
Those comics in the Klondike bar, yeah.
yeah, what do you do with the Klondike bar?
Just save them if they're collectibles, right?
I think you eat
Why
them.
would you wouldn't want to
You
eat
eat
those,
'em.
right? Yeah, you wouldn't want to eat those. Yeah,
I would. Let's see.
yeah.
Doc Fortune said, "You were free to dislike Hickman's execution, but like I said, I haven't read much of it. So, but at least he at least makes them heroic, and he understands the characters. I hated Reed Richards for a long time after Civil War, and he made me like him again. That's a fair cop because Civil War is maggot infested filth to me. Wes Cagle, hello there. I hate it. I'm talking about the comics. I hate everything it stands for. I hate everything Millard did there. The entire basic premise ruins the Marvel Universe, plus all that Illuminati horse shit.
You didn't like the Illuminati?
Hate it. What they did to Bruce Banner. I
Yeah,
also
they would
love
never.
Liz
They
Sladen.
never would have done that. Yeah,
I love Liz Sladen also.
for sure.
No. Okay, I mean, what they did to Bruce Banner, it's just, ugh. When you inject too much realism in anything, especially superheroes, now you can do a darker story with them and do some realistic things, and just ignore the things that cancel the premise out and just still do a good story. But when you come up with stuff like registering them with the government and them unmasking and the government taking control of all this, look, that's a fine from some stories, like they did it with the Authority, and stuff like that. If you're doing like the Authority or in these other alternate universe stuff, but as soon as you do it to the Marvel or DC universe, they did it to Marvel, but DC didn't do it. But as soon as you do it to the Marvel universe, it stops being the Marvel universe to me. It's some other, and you want to do all this realistic drivel. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. I just hate the idea.
Well, my comic book shop that I bought, shop that got destroyed in that. So the comic shop owner wrote into to Marvel, and they said, "Well, why don't you destroy my store?" So in one of the panels, it says "A Timeless Journey," and it's in Civil War. He was trying to get the original artwork, but he couldn't get the original artwork.
Oh wow!
It should have been pretty sweet if he'd been able to get that.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oliver Belmonte says Marvel writer Chip Zdarsky and artist Daniel Acuna, isn't he at DC now? Zdarsky? Anyway, plan to release on a limited series with a dark storyline called Avengers Twilight coming out in January 2024. I'll make sure I miss it. Keep me posted, Oliver. Doc Fortune says Civil War ruined Mr. Fantastic and Iron Man for a long time for me. Matt Fraction's Invincible Iron Man fixed Tony Stark, though. I love that story. Okay, I've heard things about that as well. So there you go. Thank you. You got a thing in this with me, Doc? I like Mark was talking about, he thinks I hadn't read anything modern at all, but I did dump out. I dumped out of Marvel in the mid 2000s, and I don't think I ever really went back that much. I'd been away from mostly divorced from DC for about like 12 years or so, until they fixed what the horrible damage that had been done to Hal Jordan with Hal Jordan Rebirth. And then I bought DC for a number of years there, with only occasionally, I was going to pick up a Marvel here and there, and then it was too much with the horse shit like Civil War and all that kind of crap. And I get people love all those things, and that's fine. They don't need me. You guys can love it without me. I mean, people who like it, great. I mean, whatever. It's just none of it was my bag, and I didn't mess with it. But I was actually liking some of the DC books until about a year or two before the Screw 52, which I hate. That was the final coffin. I mean, nail in the coffin. But actually, building up to a year or two, building up to it, all these freaking event comics. Just DC invented me right out of comics, man. Blackest Night, which I was such an idiot. I bought every one of those, dude.
You're an idiot like me.
You know how many? Did you buy them all too?
I got the whole thing. Yeah.
You know how many there were of Blackest Night?
Too many
crossovers.
Too many.
Idiotic. Then right after that, not even breathe. You can't even breathe. They got Brightest Day. And,
Yep.
and then R.I.P. And then Final Crisis. Like, what is it going to stop? The events, I'm like, your event, all the titles I liked were full of event crap, so I couldn't enjoy them anymore. I'll tell you, for a while there, I was really enjoying Nightwing by Peter Tomasi, and I can't stand him being Nightwing. It took me forever to just.
I like that Nightwing series. Yeah.
For me to come to Jesus with him being Nightwing took forever, and then I started hearing how good that was. I picked it up. That's pretty good. Yeah, well, too bad it's over. Some of the Justice League series was good shortly there for a while, even though I can't stand Brad Meltzer. And then boom, stopped it. The Lightning Saga I kind of liked. They kind of brought some of Levitt's Legion back, but there was stuff here and there I liked, and then just event. And then Screw 52 came along and said, "Hey, you think you're pissed now?" I am more of a DC fan, but the first Sinestro Corps made me quit mainstream comics altogether. I switched to only indie comics. And there's something we finally disagree on something the other way there, Doc. Because I actually liked Sinestro Corps War. That was an event I didn't mind too much. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's just after that, everything got kind of, for a while there, like, for example, the Green Lantern regular series and the Green Lantern Corps series were really good. Like Peter Tomasi was doing one of them, and then Johns was doing the other. So even though I didn't like Infinite Crisis too much, it was better than Identity Crisis. Identity Crisis was basically Civil War for DC's Civil War. But yeah,
just all these big events. They made you just aggravated because it was too much. It was too much going on. It was just like once in a while, or maybe once a year. But then they had to have it all the time. It was like,
right,
you don't need it all the time.
There's
We're
52
buying the books anyway.
Remember 52 and then the countdown?
Yeah, the countdown. I have all that.
I bought them all like an idiot. I bought that crap.
Well, at least they're worth a ton of money now.
What?
Just kidding. No,
Yeah.
I know.
Man,
It's like,
all
remember
those-
Legends of the Dark Knight came out, and I thought that was bad, and they had like 5 different colored covers. They had the blue one or the whatever it was. And now some of the comics, they have more than 25 variant covers, and that just had the like the cover over the cover. Like an idiot, I bought like 2 of every cover because it's like, oh, it's a new Batman series. That'll be worth a lot someday.
Juxtapose. Hey there. Good to see you. He says, I stopped going to my comic shop in spring. Worker shorted me $4. This person is always rude to me. Wow. When I would go in, and also I went this week and I walked right out. I get no more joy from going into my local comic shop. Shake my head. Well, I'm sorry to hear about that, Juxtapose. That sucks. Not good business, but then there are a lot of places like that. Unfortunately, they don't understand how to be good business. That's a shame.
I was gonna say, the shop that one of the first shops I used to go to, the Comics Cave, and out of business, so they can't sue us. But I always saw that he took the a lot of the issues, if they turn out to be big sellers, he'd sell them, take him out of your pull list. So, when Hulk is fighting Wolverine, the McFarlane issue with the reflection of the Wolvie and the Hulk and the claws, which turns out to be worth a lot of money these days. He's like, "Oh, sorry, we're out of those." So the SOB either resold them or because I've been getting the Hulk a couple of years. So of course the McFarlane started to get hot. That's the worst thing is when you have something in your pull list and you don't give it to a customer. It's obnoxious. Yeah, so they went out of business eventually.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Ironhide said late 2000s DC had so much good and so much garbage. On one hand, you had Green Lantern, JSA, Superman. On the other hand, you had Renee Montoya question. Oh, yeah, exactly. Batman, Batman RIP, which was terrible. Final Crisis was also terrible. Doc Fortune says they built the Sinestro Corps up to be a threat, and I thought they were going to use it to narrow down Earth's 75 million Green Lanterns to just one.
Yeah, why does our sector have so many Green Lanterns?
We only have one.
Why we
don't we have like 3? We have 2. Well,
at one point there were like 6 or 7 or 8, or I can't remember.
Yeah,
how many they had.
Hal just punched Sinestro out, and all the TLs survived. So super Snorfest. I got you. Yeah, Hal is the only one that should be, but then they got. I don't know. I mean, it's a good point because there were at least 3, right?
Well, 4. You had Hal, obviously, right?
Hal, Guy, John, and that idiot Kyle Rayner, whom I hate. So
Kyle Rayner, the artist.
Yeah, the idiot, not the artist.
And then Ethan Van Sciver came up with Jessica Cruz, right?
But that was later, wasn't it?
Later. Well, it's later, but it's just. And then, of course, you had Simon Baz, right?
That's also Screw 52, though. Yeah,
I know. I'm just naming them.
But right? It's Sexter 2814 only needs one Green Lantern, and that's Hal Jordan. So there you go. Could not be reached. And says, yeah, Blackest Night broke me on events books. I couldn't do it anymore after that. Yeah, it was. Oh man, it just really was awful. Joe Dog says the 70s was the best era for Marvel. They got debuts of awesome characters like Ghost Rider, Wolverine, Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers, and She-Hulk, etc., etc. Yes, Dave. Love me. Well, I'm a Bronze Age baby, buddy, so I love my 70s.
I know what's happening with that Green Lantern series, too, on Max or HBO Max. I don't know if that's still in development.
Hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Hope against hope that it never happens. Where were I? Trying to find one I was looking for. My max is 5 issues, max 7 issues if it's good. I hear you. Give it a shot, and if it doesn't take off, then just dump that puppy. Yeah. Cut that biatch. Can't say to blame you, sir. Nort was the Green Lantern of Antarctica. Final Crisis brought every cool thing in DC and took a collective dump on it. They got the Atomic Knights commanding Talkie Tawny beating up Tufton. Yeah. It was drivelly filth. Yeah. Final Crisis. I remember when I got I don't know if you remember Final Crisis. I remember it was the weirdest experience. When I bought I don't know how many issues there was. It was just 1 or 2 or 3. Maybe I don't know. When I read that, when I think I read it, when I got to the last page, I was like, you know what? I forgot everything I just read. It's like it's wiping it out of my mind. Yeah? And that was a long time ago. My memory wasn't quite as bad. I'm like, wait a minute. What the hell did I just read? So I went back and tried to read it again. And every time, it was like the pages were in like they were flying around, like it's incoherent. You know how they say in dreams you can't read because you dream with your left brain or whatever it is? Remember that episode? This perfect example. The episode of Batman the Animated Series, if you've seen the episode, it's a good example anyway, of Perchance to Dream, where the Mad Hatter kidnaps Batman. and he puts it and he lives. Bruce Wayne lives this whole life where he's where he could stop being. He puts Batman into this thing where he can have his whole life, and he's happy and all that stuff. But eventually, starts to suspect something's wrong, and something's wrong. He gets as he tries to read, words don't make any sense. And Batman figures out he's in a dream because you can't in your dream you can't read anything because you dream with a different side of your brain. It's like that. The words are like flying around while I'm reading this Grant Morrison drivel of Final Crisis. With pretty good words. Art. I'm like, what is he? From one page to the next, I don't even know what he's talking about. It is the most friggin' incomprehensible crap I've ever read. I mean,
well, that was Countdown, right? Led up to that, right? That was Countdown. Led up to Final Crisis,
maybe.
And you had to buy one. It was one issue a week, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah, there you go. Well, Doc's kind of talking about it too. I wanted to like Final Crisis, but expects the reader to understand way too much esoteric stuff. I had no idea what was going on. Thank you. Everyone else I knew said the same thing. Like, what in the hell is this comic? It's mind-boggling. I might try to put it on the show one night and try to make some head to tail of it. What were you asking?
No, I think it wasn't Countdown the follow-up to, because it wasn't the
I can't remember. I bought it. I think it was after Countdown.
Right? It was, and then it was called Countdown to Final Crisis, I think, or
yep. Story makes no sense. The only good thing about it was Legion of Three Worlds spinoff. I did buy the Perez art for Legion of Three Worlds was nice, but it had too many fake legions in it for me. It only had a little bit of real legion. But anyway, what were you saying?
No, I'm just remember back then you had to buy like every week there was a new comic leading up to Final Crisis, and I think it was Countdown, yeah. So
could be,
yeah, because then they had the new 50, but that was
52. Then after, Countdown,
yeah. So they got you to buy all those extra books, right? Bastards.
Sad thing is he has no idea I've been shopping there 20 years, just not that location. The paper they use on covers is what turned me off. They wanted $5.99 for the thicker cover. Well, I hear you. Sorry about that, Juxtapose. It's some drivel, I'll tell you that much. I still can't.
Expensive now, yeah.
Yeah. I still can't tell you what happens in Final Crisis. I'm like this giant vampire Superman, and I'm the Miracle Machine, and I can't either. You can read in your dream. It's just repetitive and illogical. You're illogical, Joe. Can you do math in your dream, Joe? But you do. It was good. I'll send the Black Adam story wasn't too bad. I bought every issue of that. I think what was wrong is the story was ripped off from the Elmore story. What do you give the man who has everything? Yeah, I didn't mind that. It wasn't exactly like it, because the whole point of Mad Hatter doing that to Batman was just so Batman would leave him alone so he could have his woman to keep him out of the way. I mean, Mongo was trying to kill him, but it was pretty similar other than that, yeah. I still love it. Great episode. Everything rips everything else. If you're going to rip something off, do it right at least. And then somehow Commandy meets Anthro and Darkseid, and now a paunchy middle-aged dude. Yeah, Countdown was Garbaggio, right? I still have those. Yes, but same story with the math not making that. Well, math never makes sense to me, so you're lucky in all in dreams for you. Metron shows up and smiles. Pretty sure that's in. Maybe I'll have to go back and look at it again, Doc, because it was so stupid. Oh boy, 52 had a mixed bag. There were some good issues, I agree. Yeah, the Black Adam part was okay, I guess. I do remember that. Chocolate egg cream. The whole storyline with egg food kidnapping all the scientists was awesome. There you go. So, man, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? Reliving some comics memories here. That's always fun. Yeah,
can't even. It's so crazy. I mean, I think I read all those. I can't really remember much of what happened.
Man,
maybe because it wasn't that good, right? I mean, if
the
you
thing
ask
is,
me,
yeah, no good.
About a classic story, certain stories you never forget. Reading, and It's
Well,
like
there were
plus it was
weekly.
every week. It was
52 was every week,
too.
and Countdown was every week. That's 52 issues
Week.
of each one
God.
of them.
God,
I still
they
have
must have
those
really had to work
somewhere.
hard on the back end though to get those out. I wonder how much
They had to hack
they
it
had
out now.
built up.
Yeah.
I wonder how much they had built up ahead of time.
You know what? Crap or not, though, that they could not manage anything like that today.
Probably not.
Even
yeah.
back then, they were at least better at getting stuff out, and they had people read. People were still reading comics for the most part.
Yeah, because everything is so late. These books are always late. And I mean, I know that's always been a problem. They always have,
Right.
filler issues they would throw in. They'd pull out of the can and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
throw it in for an emergency. But
Yeah.
remember that Hulk Wolverine series that came out a year apart? That was the guy from Lost who was writing it.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck?
Oh well. Yes. Look. You've convinced me. You talked me into it. I'm gonna review Final Crisis for the hell of it. Maybe I'll do it like a Halloween thing because that comic is scary bad. I don't know. Maybe not Halloween, but that comic is just a holy crapple nuts. But speaking of comics, we got some good comics to review tomorrow night, or a good comic to read tomorrow night, I think. Star Trek comic.
That's right. Did we
Now,
do
remember-
a comic last? Oh, we did a comic last week, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did. And now watch
Yeah.
it. I forgot last week, but I'd already read it the week before. So I'm gonna make some reminder of me to read
Just came through it
that
again.
comic.
Are we doing a Tales of Tomorrow or just the
I hadn't thought so, but we can if you want to. I mean,
well, it's up to Raquel because she was catching up from
let her catch
jet
up. We'll
lag.
start next week, I guess. We'll just do the comic and Blake 7, and then yeah, we'll let her catch up.
Yep. Give her a break.
Yeah.
Oh, Jill, it's not. We're just not sure ourselves, right? Which number did we?
Oh
leave
no, it's
off on?
yeah, it's not a secret. It's Star
New
Trek
Voyages?
the early voyages. Number.
Well,
Let me find the issue number. I'll go find it. There we go. That's my finding music.
I thought it was.
Let's see. I think it was issue. The next issue should be. Wait a minute. Okay, let me see. We did 10. Issue 10 was the one we did last week. So should be 11.
11. Okay.
Yeah, we're getting toward the end. Oh, by the way, I have found out what we're going to do next after that, though. Raquel will be
You
pleased.
figured another comic.
Yes, that
Good,
she will
good.
like. That she will like. I mean, she won't love it as much as the Cage characters, of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, number 11 is next. We'll remind her in the chat thingy.
I was surprised how much she loved it. I'm glad she did, but yeah, I didn't think she would like this series as much as she did because she's never read a comic book before either.
That's right. We've got Raquel reading comics. We're corrupting her. I hate this new YouTube app for iPhone. You have to hit the return key 47 times for it to post your oh, wow. Dang. It might be glitchy lately.
Yeah, who did that? Some engineer?
Probably.
I'm trying to find the engineers love to change things, but do we still have that on there?
DC Wednesday comics released right around the same time. What's that now?
Oh, I'm trying to find the engineers love to change thing. I don't know if we had to take that off. Oh, here we go.
And they probably redesigned the whole sick bay, too. I know engineers, they love to change things.
You, Steve Mitchum. Yeah, yes, they do, and they like to screw things up. So.
Gwagnar, are you referring to that tabloid they had, the Wednesday comics DC put out? I bought all of those. I think I showed those to you one time. Those are pretty cool. I liked them. They were kind of different. It was different.
Yep.
It's like a newspaper form, like a newspaper, but it was all DC Comics, of course. Yeah. So there you go. Wow. Well, look, I've kept everybody here late tonight, didn't I? What else?
It got late early.
What else we got going on? It's not late. It's early, right?
Yogi Bear. It got late early.
It got late
Last
early. Yeah,
one.
there you go. Yes, sirree, Bob. Jill. We've been reading Star Trek: The Early Voyage. I don't know if you I could show you where to find them. I don't know if you read. I know you don't read comics probably, but if you wanted to find them, Parker Luck, what's up, dude?
Yeah, it's a Marvel series.
He says I as well get still get Marvel. I'm still get modern comics. Not going to hey, well that's okay. That's all right. We forgive you.
Hey, I get them too. So
yeah, everybody gets them but me. So don't. I mean, you know, you're the majority here, Parker. I got you, Jill. But no, this is another. I'll tell you about the series. There are a couple that was still in this Paramount Comics line. I think she'll like. They have one called Star Trek Unlimited. It's written by the same guys that write Early Voyages. Actually, half of it's TNG story, and half of it's TOS story. Each issue, and those are pretty cool.
There's 10 issues of that. I think
Of what Unlimited.
Unlimited. Yep.
Then there are a few issues of something called Star Trek Untold Voyages, which take place right after the motion picture of new stories.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, the 5 issues.
Take a look at those. Yep. I'll vet those and see if they're. I seem to remember them being good, but you know, we'll see. I think she might enjoy those.
Yeah,
maybe.
And I love the Peter David Star Trek DC. It was a DC or Marvel. I can't remember.
DC.
It was DC, right?
You know, we might try some of those.
Yeah, or you could just pick a storyline out too. You don't have to do the whole.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Well, we're gonna do.
Of course, Raquel would want to do like 1 to 100 in order, but like you can just
do Dead of Honor.
Yeah, I have to do that. Yeah.
Not sure that. Yeah. So, wow, what a big crew we got here tonight. Big listenership there. Appreciate y'all being here, lurking, and if you're lurking or if you're out there watching it on a download later, do appreciate you. Let's see here. Anything else going on? Anybody got anything that before we get out of here? I want to give you all an opportunity if you have anything to say or
questions.
Any questions for us? Let's see. How many years was Star Trek titles Star Trek title were at DC Comics or Detective Comics? Which DC Comics? Let's see here. They had it. They first got DC's first time to get Star Trek was around 82-ish, 83, something like that. 83, 84, right up in there. And then they had it for about a decade, I guess, almost. Eventually.
Yeah, they did the Next Generation, Modella Imperative.
Yeah, they did. All right, they started out in a comic that took place after Wrath of Khan that had no Spock, of course. And then after Trek 3, the comic had Spock, but it had no Enterprise. So they had the Excelsior in the comic. The crew was on the Excelsior. And Savick was a part of the crew, of course. And in the comic before and after to Trek 3, right? Yeah. And then it had various adventures in Excelsior. And then when Trek 4 came out, they decided, let's just start over. And so they just kind of left that aside, and they started over, which took in a comic that took place, after Trek 4, where they were all together. And just kind of, I think it seems to me they just ignored that continuity. And then they started from there. And
here I can show you my screen where I have all the different every issue from the DC run.
Ezra, do I like the new Doctor Who theme for 60th anniversary of new serials? I haven't heard it yet. I'm not. Is it if it's by oh God, Maury Gold. If it's by Maury Gold, it could be good. Even one thing I did like about the lead up to Final Crisis was how Darkseid tried to spread a crime religion. I thought that was a very Darkseid thing to do. Sure, yep, yes, it was. Yeah, absolutely. It's just so there's a bunch of the DC treks.
Yeah, I mean the thumbnails are very small, but
They're not in particular order. It looks like you got the annual, then you got the first one. Yeah,
yeah. So this is third series.
I love that Perez cover on that first issue.
This one,
And
right?
there were a lot of times when I didn't like the writing or the art. I after a while, I gave up buying the comic for a while. I got to be honest, but back when it was coming out, because some of the dialogue, it just seemed to me like these guys were just rehashing dialogue from the show and not doing it particularly well. Had some great covers later, but I never really liked the way they drew the characters all that much. At least not never, but a lot of
Yeah.
it.
This is a great cover for it's tough to see, but did I click on it? Nope. The fourth series, number 1. Oh, where'd it go? It just refreshed the whole thing. Sorry. But
Are those in your
yeah, this cover here, yeah. That was a great cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
I think this was a really good run here. This Death Before Dishonor. I'm trying to remember now that I think this run part was really good. But it's tough to, when you read something again and you have to go back and reread it. And I remember telling my friends around this time, like, oh, you got to read these Star Trek comics with Peter David. They're just fantastic. It's like watching episodes.
He
of the
wrote
series
great
again.
Trek novels, so I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I think they did a trade of his.
Yeah, there's a few trades of his stuff, yeah. But I mean, there's quite a few comics in that DC run. So, and then it went to. Did it go back to Marvel? Then it went to IDW.
Well, Malibu got Deep Space Nine and Voyager, if I remember right.
Okay.
And then they just didn't get the other properties. Then eventually, in '97 or whatever that was it '97? They made the deal with Paramount Comics and they got all the licensing with Marvel. So yeah, it went to Marvel.
Went to Marvel. Okay.
Wagner says, "How about we review the Star Trek issue that Straczynski wrote? There's only one issue. That would be something to do. Yeah, I got to figure out if you can find out the issue number. Let me know because I don't know the issue number. Gwag, good idea. DC Star Trek comics in the '80s had superb storytelling plus artwork that made you want to read one issue after the other," says Oliver Belamonte. There you go. Had great covers. Sometimes for a while at the beginning, I didn't like it because I didn't like Tom Sutton as an artist. Wordslinger was what the issue was called. Okay. World Singer.
Yeah.
World Singer. Okay. I'll find it if I can track it down. That'd be interesting to see. I probably never even read that one.
Yeah, and you could buy the CD in 2003 of every Star Trek comic ever produced, up to that point, obviously. But now they would never do that. Where come out with they'd sell all the individuals separately to make more money. But yeah, this is so this is all the DC. That's all the DC covers.
Around '83 up until the I don't know, early '90s at some point, mid or early something. Then it went to the Marvel Paramount Comics. And then where do you get these pictures from? This is all
PAL
records.
All Star Trek. Yeah, this is the record I have on my wall. We should review this one at some point. So this is the Star Trek book and record set. We should review this.
Yeah,
I love this. Yeah, so
issue volume 2, number 16. Got the issue signed by Straczynski. Cool, very cool, Gwag.
So that's on my wall. I got that as a Christmas present.
Neil Adams, Dick Giordano art.
And is that a DC or is that Marvel?
It's nobody. It's Palette Records. They just
Oh no, I mean the
What?
Word Singer, World Slinger.
Oh,
Singer.
World Sleep, that's DC.
That's DC. I got that. Yeah. So let's see. DC Volume 2, number 16. Let's go to DC.
You got some filth on there.
Well, I mean, they came on the CD. You know, it just
They came on the
appeared.
CD. My CD
that,
doesn't.
no, that didn't. That didn't
No.
come on the CD.
No, my CD goes back to.
I don't know why I have that.
Damn you!
Don't get me in trouble.
My CD goes up to stops at the Paramount books. It doesn't even go to the IDW.
That's true. Yeah. Get me in trouble. Why don't I have the fourth series?
It's volume 2. Did he write this before he did Babylon 5? He says, I don't remember if the story was any good, however.
Let's see. This is first series. Let's see. So we're second series here. Let's see if I look here. First series, miniseries.
I bought the Modalo Imperative, obviously, because it had both crews in it.
Yeah, that was pretty good, if I remember it.
And Old Man McCoy with the T in his ears.
Why am I missing the second series? I guess I don't have it. Inconceivable.
Inconceivable. Yes, you do. I saw it.
Oh,
right, what issue was it again? Let me go check here.
Yeah.
Let me look into something here. I'll find it.
What year was it? Once you find it. Yeah, I wonder if it's in my collection here.
Zillion Trek comics, but I'll find it. I'll narrow it down to Alrighty then. Then now. All right, that's the first one. Where's the second volume? It's all over the place, but I'll find it. No sense of order to these things at all. But I know it's got to be on here.
Well,
all right.
If it's before 92, I would have it on my CD there.
Come on, man. But a lot of Star Trek comics.
I do have my CD handy.
A lot of freaking Star Trek comics. Man.
Yeah.
Come on. It's got to be one of these. We'll find it, Gwag.
It was 1989, maybe.
I must just pass it up. Come on. My eyes are garbage, so. But I like them. I don't want to lose them. I like them. Don't leave me out.
Yeah.
I take it back. They're bad, but that's all I got. Where are you? Oh, okay. All right. Number 16, did they say, right?
Yep.
All righty then.
Well, here, I can pull this up. So
there you go. Got it. Great cover. I'll pull it up.
All righty.
I'll show it. All right. I got it, Gwagger.
See, you're better than me.
I thought you said you didn't have it.
Well, I'm just trying to see. Let's see. DC. I'm just looking at my database here, but.
I was going to show it.
You show it. Yeah. There you go.
Hey, Gwaggar. World.
Oh, it is a good cover. Yeah.
That's a nice cover there.
That's a great cover. Yeah.
Yeah, mine's for Krasinski. This was
Arnie Starr.
This is 1991. This is before Babylon 5, dude. According to this. So published for the year. 1990.
Oh, you know why I couldn't find it? Because it's considered the fourth series. Although it's the second DC series. So I did have it, but it's considered the Star Trek fourth series.
I got you. Well, this is this series started in number 89, the second series. So this Gwag, this was before Babylon 5. That's mind blowing, isn't it?
Oh, I'm missing that issue. I've got almost the whole.
Damn you!
How could I miss that issue?
Wasn't it Gold Key Publishing that comic company that did the first Trek comics. That is correct, Parker. After the original series, was it reprints or something? Actually, it was they were coming out when the show was just leaving the air. It was Golke. Nope, it was Golke. You're right. A few years ago, I did a whole stream about the history of Star Trek comics. I'll probably just do it again. Just do it again, I guess. What do you think?
Why not? Oh, and
That's
Bill
fine.
Mummy wrote issue before this, issue 15 with Peter David.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's wrote in a few issues. Yeah, Bill Mummy. Oh,
damn, that's a nice cover.
Issues 13 to 15 were Bill Mummy with Peter David. And that was the run I was talking about that I thought was fantastic. That was that Peter David run from issue 1 to issue 19. And Howard Weinstein took over.
Weinstein wrote an episode of the animated series.
Right? And he was the guy that came up with the whales, wasn't it? Save the Whales? Wasn't it Howard Weinstein?
Was it him?
Yeah, I think it was, yeah.
We'll save that and we'll review that one.
Yeah, Howard Weinstein, because he came to my college and he gave a talk, and he had the idea for the whales.
Oh, okay. Wow.
If memory serves, yeah.
Could be. He wrote an episode of the animated series.
Pirates of Orion.
He wrote the Pirates of Orion. Is that right? Yeah. You said it.
Yeah, he was credited with thanks on Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And he wrote a novel too.
Yeah, and I went to a lecture he gave.
He wrote a Trek novel. Okay.
He was at our college, and all my friends like, you have to go. And I think back then there were no cell phones or just my bad memory to deal with. But it was a fun lecture. Yeah. So
you notice how this series, that Howard Weinstein, Weinstein wrote this one. This one takes place at different eras. We should, Raquel would probably love to see some of these. Billy Mummy, Peter David and Billy Mummy.
Yeah. No, that first batch of 1 to 20, thereabouts, 25, was just a great run of Star Trek comics. I love those. Those are so damn good.
Yes. Yeah, these are cool. These are some cool Trek comics and some great Trek art too. Again, the covers are beautiful. Some of the interiors, they move between serviceable to get the story done to, they're okay stuff. Not the greatest artists or anything. But but still.
Definitely put that on my list of favorite Star Trek comics. I mean, I haven't read them since 1989. But I'm just remembering how damn good they were. Yeah.
So it's Peter David and Billy Mummy on a couple of them there, looks like.
Like 4 of them, I think. Yep. Is starting with issue 13, 14, 15, and 15. 13, 14, 15 were Mummy. Yep.
Wow. Well, Billy Mummy wrote some other comics. He and Miguel Ferrer did a comic called Comet Man for Marvel. I remember reading that one. Yeah. And he was a big comics dude. He and Miguel Ferrer, there's a bunch of pictures of them and Mark Hamill with a bunch of guys like Jack Kirby and Julius Schwartz, all these different places where they got to hang out with them and stuff and have dinner with them and everything. So they were big comics fans. So they met, and they have pictures with a lot of great creators with those dudes. Again, it was Billy Mummy, Miguel Ferrer, who's passed unfortunately, Mark Hamill, and they hung out with comic book creators. They were all comic geeks.
So that comic went up to issue 80. That run ended at issue 80.
Issue 80, wow.
1986. Yep.
Let's see what issue number 70 looks like. Just for the hell of it. Whoa. Weinstein.
Wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah. Interesting. That's pretty interesting art on this one. Rachel Ketchum. Arnie Starr was always inking it. Rachel. Good artist, Rachel. How about that? That's a cute cover.
She's on fire,
Billy
fire.
Mummy wrote the Lost in Space comic by Innovation Comics. Yeah, I bought the Innovation ones. You know, funny story. We were talking earlier about the late. I don't know if you've heard earlier, Mark, but Mark Goddard, who played Major West on one of my favorite shows.
Oh yeah, he passed away, right?
He passed away. I met him a few times, and he was really the second time I met him in New Orleans. He was trying to get me to buy all these really expensive, innovation issues of Lost in Space. With it just because he'd signed them. I already had the comics and I couldn't afford no damn what he wanted to sell them for. And he was like being pushy about it, but it was cool. I joked around with him. It was fun. It was all good natured fun, but he was nice to me at both cons. He was a good guest, good con guest. But yeah, the Innovation series of Lost in Space was really good. I've got them and I wish it had lasted longer. That was a good comic. That was a good comic adaptation. It didn't last for at all very long, but in fact, in tribute to Mark Goddard, maybe we should look at that. Let's see. I bet. Did you ever see that series?
Did not. No.
By Innovation and it's I think it was.
You're gonna try to sell it to me now for an exorbitant price, but if you sign it, I'll buy it. Yep.
Let me see. There we go. Lost up in space.
She's almost losing her blouse there. I don't know
that's my Judy. Man. Lost in Space comics, folks. And I'm glad you reminded me of the Innovation book, Wag. Good call. I happen to have a huge poster of all the Star Trek novels that my stepbrother got when he was working at Barnes and Scrotum for years ago. Oh, cool.
That is very cool. That must be awesome, yeah. Well, my dorm room in college was covered in Star Trek posters, even on the ceiling. So you just couldn't keep the ladies out of there. It was just the babe magnet in there. They all loved the Star Trek stuff, yeah.
Yep.
Very popular.
There you go.
That's weird art on that, God.
It is.
Kind of looks like Mad Magazine a little bit.
It was really garish art, I remember, but it looks like the show, though. But it was really
in black and white.
Huh?
It's not in black and white.
They had episodes that weren't in black and white.
Just kidding.
It was really, I remember buying this man, it looks garish on this thing. Oh, this is not a trade either. There's Don West, Mark Goddard. I mean, they drew whoever's doing this, they wouldn't mess around. They drew them just to look just like TV show characters. Okay, and yes, yes, they're a bit grabby, but look, it's Judy Robinson. You'd be grabby too if you had tentacles. Sorry. She was the first love of my life. What can I tell you? Her and Batgirl. So anyway, it was crazy
with
art.
Extra tentacles stuff.
And look how they drew her like this. I mean, this is not a kid's show, folks, anymore. This comic.
No, yeah.
I mean, it wasn't X-rated or anything, but I remember a lot of people were complaining about it. Like, what in the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
What's this one here? They
get lost for a while in space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whole joke that the robot has legs there. You go back up one more.
Oh.
Go back a page. Is the robot walking there with legs? Yep. Oh, now go back down.
You mean down? You said.
Yeah, well now down.
You say back.
Oh. No, go backwards a page.
That way?
Keep going. Yep. Keep going. Yep.
Yes,
there we go. Robot with legs.
I don't know why they gave him legs.
Well, originally he had legs, but it was too chafing for the for the actor. It was a mess. Yeah. So they just locked the legs together.
Yeah. We were pretty excited to get a Lost in Space comic, though. I mean, what can I tell you? Brian Stelfreeze. Billy Mummy wrote it, So sometimes they had better art than others. This was one of the other times. Wasn't one of those.
That's an interesting style. That's Stelfreeze, you said?
No, that's That might
Who
be
is
Stealth
this?
Freeze. Yeah, I think that's Stealth Freeze. But a few
After
different.
after a while, you kind of get into the style too. It's once you read it, and then
They got these
grows on
pinup
you.
covers. They look like old pulps, which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
I mean, let's face it, kids weren't buying. This was at the comic shop anyway, so kids weren't
this
buying
is for
it.
adults. Yeah, it's an adult.
It's the adult Lost in Space. I mean, it's not like it's
Yeah.
racy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Doc Fortune, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. Great to have you here. We're about to close up shop in a second here.
Close the comic book shop.
Yeah. So, Mark Goddard, sir, rest in peace. I don't mind you at all that you tried to sell me your autograph for ridiculous money. You're just trying to make a living.
It
was the year
supposed to do. Yep.
It was the year 2000, man. It was a time for him to try to look. Shows him while reading the comic.
That's fun.
Wow, that's weird art right there. I've looked at these forever. Yeah, I think I missed some of these. Damn it. They were tough to get at the comics. Jackasses wouldn't order them. Boy. Anyway, so that's enough of that nonsense, isn't it? Sorry about that, folks. So just a little tribute to the
reminiscing.
the great Mark Goddard, who was passed away at 80, I think 80. It was 80. Yeah. Did you ever watch that show at all?
Oh yeah, I watched Lost in Space. Yep. Not like you did, but
Major West was cool.
Yeah.
Jill says, I'm watching Lost in Space for the first time. Oh, really? Enjoying many season 1 episodes, but even at the end of the season, things are starting to get sillier. Yeah, I get to season 2 soon. Wow, yep. It gets silly.
Vegetables.
Season 3. The very end. It's like the third last episode. But see, Jill, it's funny because you ever watch the have you ever seen the the unaired pilot? There's an unaired pilot without Dr. Smith and the robot. It's out. I mean, obviously it never aired, but I mean, we used to have a copy of it. So I'm sure it might even be on YouTube for all I know. And they just later
might have it.
Yeah. But there's an unaired pilot, but forgetting about that for a second, the first 4 or 5 episodes were pretty serious. It was a damn good, show. Those 5 episodes. I mean, I'm not saying it got horrible right after that, but Dr. Smith was scarier. There was some scare. You didn't know what the robot was going to do. Yeah. And they had some cool scenes of the I love that chariot, man. That's the baddest thing. Badass chariot. Whenever
the chariot was awesome.
Yeah, and they had the big giants in the episode and all that stuff.
Right, you love that. You love that stuff. I mean,
it was the world to me.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch the unaired pilot after I finish season 1, so I haven't gotten there yet. I got you. Yeah, cool. But Jupiter 2. Now, John Williams did both themes. It's tough for me to choose between the two themes he did. They're both great. Do you have a favorite, Gwag? Dr. Smith was evil in the first episodes, then he became clown. Yes, that's true, D-Bud. Well, they decided to make it a kiddie show. That's true. I saw that, Larry. I think we saw that. The guy that restored the chariot. Oh, man, that was incredible. Remember that? Didn't you and I look at a video about that with the guy restored the Lost in Space chariot? I think we did one night.
Maybe, yep.
Yes, I love those episodes. She says, written by S. Bar David, who also wrote the Galileo 7 and Dagger of the Mind. Yeah. Cool. Greatness. That's your favorite episode, Galileo. But that
for sure, yeah.
You like the second theme is more exciting, but I kind of like the you know what I'm talking about?
That's great, yeah.
There's something about that
was
and those opening credits.
Well, I was gonna say, remember one of my friends, my brother-in-law's friend does a lot of filming. There's in Greg Nicotero's studio filming something for like he does a lot of the films like for Turner Classic Movies. He'll do like, the segments. So, and then we're looking at it, we thought it was the Jupiter 2, the console. My brother and I forgot to ask him to ask his buddy if it really was the original prop or one of the original props. And he's like, how the heck could you tell what that's from? Like, because, it's like in the corner of the picture. and Clobberin Times and I were looking at it, and I'm like, God damn, that looks like the Jupiter 2, the part of the console. He's like, and he's laughing. He's like, but what? That doesn't look like anything to me. It looks like a window and a couple of pieces are like. So it's
Exactly.
hysterical.
Hey, did any of you buy this? Comic adaptation of Forbidden Planet.
I don't have that, but
I have this somewhere. Anybody? I know Gwag or Larry might have this one. I don't know. Gwag, you might have this one.
Robbie the Robot.
He was on an episode of Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's the same designer. Yep. I got a nice model of him.
I love Robbie.
Posters on my wall.
I love Robbie, but I saw Forbidden Planet years after I was already in love with Lost in Space.
See, like
I still kind of lean towards B5 a little bit. I mean, he'll always be my favorite robot of all time.
But you only get Robbie in Forbidden Planet. I love Robbie. Really? I mean,
he's been in a lot of other stuff. They put him in other crap.
But is he Robbie? He's not the.
No, he's not Robbie. You're right.
Robbie, right? Yeah. So, and of course, one of my favorite.
True, Jill. It didn't happen in the movie. What's that?
One of my favorite all-time toys, which I've never done a video on, but I've shown it, was Robbie Robot. It was Billy Blastoff and Robbie. It wasn't Robbie the Robot, Robbie Robot, and you had like all these atomic toys. And I've shown it before. It was from the '60s. And it was one of my favorite toys that survived. It had the robot in there, obviously. So but it was Robbie Robot, which is hysterical. But I always thought it was Robbie the Robot until I looked it up years later. Yeah. Classic toy. Yep. So I bought it on Fleabag. I actually had all my toys, original toys, and I bought a nice set on Fleabag years later. But it's amazing. Those toys were from when I was 3 years old, and they survived, and I still had them. I didn't get thrown out. So, yeah, it was cool. Great stuff. Yeah. Well, space was huge back then too, obviously, with the Apollo program and landing on the moon. So, yeah.
Yes, space, it says, is big, really big. I mean, you won't believe how vastly, hugely, mind-bogglingly big it is. I mean, you may think it's a long way down the street to the chemist, but that's just peanuts to space. Let's see. It's a movie poster. Yes, never movie. Yep. Always never in the movie. Robbie has his own IMDb. Yep. Yeah. Do you guys, hey, Tobor, do you guys remember IQ9 from Star Blazers? I didn't watch a lot of Star Blazers. I had a lot of friends who were fans of it, though. I knew Tobor would chime in if we were talking about robots, though.
Yeah.
Do an entire episode on Robbie the Robot. Could we? I don't know how I would do that. I wouldn't know how to do that. I'd have to have you come on and do that for me, Tobor. I'd have to have you handle that for me, dude. I mean, you're the robot expert. You are the robot, in fact. So. Well, my dear friends, I guess we've kept you up all night long enough. And I just want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. Really do appreciate you. You've been fantastic. Any closing words, Mark? Anything? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for hanging out tonight. Of course, you're going to talk about the clubhouse.
Sure.
We've got, of course, Sunday Night Geekery. Hopefully, I shall be there, and maybe we'll end up doing it in 2 parts anyway. Because I was looking at have like 6,000 bazillion pictures of Comic-Con and videos and stuff. So, and I was hoping to post from Comic-Con, but the internet was just so overloaded.
Oh yeah,
the cell tower, so I couldn't even. I had like a welcome to Comic-Con video that I tried to post in the morning, and then it didn't get posted till the train ride home.
Yikes!
It was so, I don't even know what my cell phone bill is going to be if I was on roaming or something for that day, but that was worth it. But yeah, so Sunday night we'll be covering Comic-Con, and hopefully maybe if I have time between now and then, I'll do a couple of quick hit videos from some of the cosplay and some of the things that I saw there. There's some cool, some amazing toys, and God, it's just so cool to be there. And I did come back with a small haul, not too bad, but yeah, I
Cool.
came home.
We want to see it. Yeah.
Yep. So looking Sunday night, 10 p.m. Eastern. So looking forward to hanging out with you guys there. Yep.
Hell yeah. Well, of course, tomorrow night we got the clubhouse. Of course. Let's see, everybody. The clubhouse with Chief Engineer and Raquel. What we got going on? Of course, review of the second episode 2 of Blake 7, Spacefall, and review of issue number 11 of Star Trek: The Early Voyages, plus other wackiness. Who knows? Might ask Mark questions about the con or stuff, and we'll just do other stuff.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of fun though. And let's see. Then there is, of course, Thursday tomorrow night also should be on. I'm gonna try to be on with on Midnight Edge After Dark, of course. 6, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to make it or not. But then Friday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 Eastern, on the Great J-Man channel, where J-Man and Sean and I will continue our ongoing mission of reviewing all of Jack Kirby's Fourth World saga. We've had a great time doing that. It's so much fun. Got a good ways to go on it, and really just enjoying that. And then I might hang out with the 32 Flavors of Nicklizer, the comic shop boys at 8:30 Central. A lot of comic shop talk, fun for that. If you like comics talk, it's with a cool gang there. Then it goes Saturday night Star Trek. I made a boo-boo. It's not season 2. It's season 3. I got to change that. Oops. But it is anyway. It's season 3, beginning season 3 with 4 more episodes on that. Of course, then I'll be hanging out with Mark on the Geekery.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll be some eatery. But I bet it's going to be all geekery this time. We never know.
We did go out to dinner, so quick eatery.
Maybe slight
Comic-Con, yeah, very slight, yeah.
And Monday night up,
sea bugs.
Indeed, sea bugs. It will be Monday night. I will be on J-Man's channel reviewing Legion, our usual Legion reviews of the whole damn shebang, 58 through 89, except no substitutes. So, let's see here. Thank you all so much. I'm going to shout out the wrenches real quick. Of course, Eric K, Chris Persia, D. Bud Martin, Lord Thoth, J-Man, Stephen Callell, Thor from Vegas, Fanny Outside and Max Redstone, and let's see. And of course, thank you all for being here with us tonight. Larry, Jill. Thank you for being here, Jill. Guagnar, Oliver Belamonte, Parker Luck, Don Ranger Power, Ezra Goldstein, Tobor the Robot, Claude Salling, what takes me to get to it? Oh man, Doc Fortune, Keely Chow was there earlier. Captain Finity popped in. I know he did. Let's see. Maddie's daddy, of course. Joe Dog. Ironhide. All right. Juxtapose. Hope your day gets better, my friend. Could not be reached for further comment. Let's see. Oh boy. Wes Cagle. DJ Ronnie G, Dave G Sound, RRTNZ. Thank you all so much. Penny was here as well. I think I said Oliver Belamonte. Oliver, but if it gets you twice as nerd, does it? Brian Hepburn was here. Where are you? All right. Almost there, folks. I'd like to get everybody shout out. Ravenscroft was here as well. That's right. Oh, yeah. All right. Jonah Hex was here. Yay. So you got to figure at this point, I've pretty much got everybody.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah, you got to.
Would think so,
Yeah.
right?
One would think that it's all hunky dory-ish. Empress NM. See, I told you it was somebody else.
There we go.
Oh,
well, someone just popped in.
oh, who's here? I can't see it.
That's Wolfen.
Das Wolfen. Shout out, buddy.
Hey, Das Wolfen.
Good to see you. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go out on a limb and think I got everybody. Because still got a ways to scroll. But that's how we roll. I'm going to go that, yeah. We're, I think we're pretty straight up. I think we got everybody.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah, I think. Picasso. See, I told you. Man, oh, man. I knew that. And then, Adrian James was here. Thank you. And that's Brogu was here as well. Wow. See? Just never know until you scroll the whole thing back. And there we go. Oh, Grim was also here with us. And I think I said Keeley. Did I say Keeley? Yeah. So, all right. Well, I do believe. Oh, FKHC 2005 was here. Let's see. Got you all shouted out. I want to thank everybody who was here with us in the chat and everyone who was out there lurking. We really appreciate you as well. And of course, our great friends who are watching on a download or a rewatch. Thank you so much. You were too kind. It's great to have you. We really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you feel like it, and don't go out of any trouble. But if you would be so kind, I would appreciate it very much. If you haven't already, of course. Anyway, see you soon, my good friends. Thank you so much. Well, have a wonderful remainder of your night and week.
I just love clobbering time.